What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 8-Tay Chapter 176 Bullet is dead. Stark shot. The first update, please complete the order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement, really, monster, 99. On the top of the mountain, CP0 Lucci swallowed his saliva. In this case, can he really snatch the eternal pointer to the final island? For a while, I am afraid that it will be smashed by the Meteorite group together and turned into ashes. In addition to that girl with terrifying strength, there are also those two who have never done anything. But looking at his appearance and clothes, he is probably a member of the Espada Corps of Christy Kingdom. Facing those Espada monsters, Lucci thought that his strength was still inferior. So Lucci decided to give up. Forget it, the mission failed, let's withdraw first. Lucci's face was gloomy, and after some thought, he could only give up. Why, have you finally given up? 35 aside, Sabo, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army, smiled. The people of the world government really have their presence everywhere. It's just a pity that his younger brother Luffy also failed to get the eternal pointer this time. Humph. Lucci snorted coldly, rolled his eyes at him, turned and left. On the treacherous plains on the island, supernovas and Shichibukai are also trembling. Hey, run away, Luffy, run. Now this battlefield is out of our hands. 18, Usopp has been rescued. Luffy senpai, run away, Marine Admiral Fujitora has opened an escape route to the sea. 66.99 advertisement. Luffy gritted his teeth, watching the terrifying natural disaster, and his partners were all ready to flee. For the safety of his friends, Luffy finally nodded reluctantly and flew back to the pirate ship. Oh, it's terrifying, with such a group of meteorites falling, maybe without the Buster Call fleet attacking, all those pirates would have to be wiped out. On the main command ship of Buster Call, Perusalino looked up at the sky, looked at the falling meteorites, and said in surprise. The Buster Call fleet has approached the island of the Pirate Expo, and Pulsalino naturally saw that shocking scene. If all the meteorites hit the island, the entire island will be torn apart, and the bottom shell can be smashed. Order, the entire fleet suspends its advance, and waits for the meteor to pass before approaching. Although Pulsalino has the flash ability to wipe out the meteorites. But the marines of these Buster Call fleets will also cause ripples. So I chose to wait and see for the time being. No, Lousy is the strongest in the world. How can he be defeated here? 55. The ultimate annihilation cannon. Ah, boom. Finally, meteorites, fall. Bullet looked at the group of meteorites coming towards him, his face twisted and ferocious to ultimate, and the color of madness was revealed. All Hakis are released, the huge body twists, the armament Haki wraps around the whole body, and the black and purple arms wave fists, turning into dozens of fist shadows. Bang bang. Bang bang. Boom. The first meteorite was smashed by a punch, the second hit the left arm, the third was smashed, and the fourth was smashed. The fifth one hit the right arm, the arm was smashed to pieces, the sixth one hit the monster's chest, the seventh. Bullet's crazy roars and screams were resounding, and he was doing his best to resist. Advertisement. After a while, the entire island was smashed into pieces by meteorites, and the bullets of more than a dozen meteorites were forcibly connected, and the gigantic monster body of several thousand meters that merged was already smashed to pieces. There are several meteorites piled up in the center of the island, and Bullet's figure has also been engulfed by the meteorite group and turned into ashes. Devil's Air Deadless Bullet, die, really, this is the end. Stark scratched his head. So what's the point of him and Lilynette following the tornado? Most of the pirates who needed to be wiped out were taken away by a wave of meteorites. Stupid Stark, didn't you see that all those pirates left by boat? Lilynette kicked Stark angrily, pointing at the pirates who escaped from the island. Stark heard the words and saw that there were indeed a group of escaped pirate ships. Stark sighed slightly. The next moment, the figures of Stark and Lilynette suddenly disappeared, and in the blink of an eye they came to the sky above the pirates' escape route. Sorry, some of you have to be buried here. Looking at the dozens of pirate ships below, Stark said lazily and indifferently. Sero. Boom. Boom. The blue Sero shot from Stark's fingertips, streaked across the sea, and blasted a stormy wave, and several pirate ships of the pirate group were instantly annihilated. The violent waves rolled, and dozens of pirate ships in that sea area swayed, twisted by the rapids. Hey, what are you doing, bastard? Asshole. Damn it, Marine Buster Call and this guy from nowhere. Advertisement, flee. 35. The pirates were horrified and furious, and shouted angrily. It's just that in the face of Stark's terrifying aura, all of them are trying their best to escape, for fear that the next one will be his own pirate group. Huh? Christy's Espada? What edge is this again? On the main ship of Buster Call, Perusalino squinted his eyes and looked at the sky, one move that annihilated several star KS of the pirate group. This is a raw face that 110 has never seen before. Pulsalino probably guessed Stark's identity when he saw the uniform and appearance that Stark was wearing. No way, the appearance of the Espada Corps is so unique that it is hard to recognize. Not to mention that Perusalino is the most vocal of them all. After all, you have been hanged and beaten a few times, can you not remember it? Flash kick. Just when he was thinking about why the Espada Legion appeared here, he saw Sero bursting out of Stark's fingertips again. Perusalino's eyelids jumped, and he instantly kicked out a laser. Bang bang. The next moment, the laser and Sero collided, and a big explosion occurred. The terrifying shockwaves and airwaves stirred up, pushing the waves and pushing the pirate group to a large distance. Seeing that Sero, which he had just sent, was actually intercepted, Stark was puzzled and looked back. Swish. Sorry little brother, I originally wanted to attack the pirates, but I didn't expect to collide with your attack. With a flash of golden light, Pulsalino appeared beside Stark with a smile, and said in a very low tone. Chapter 177 The Reprimanded Stark. Second update, please complete the order. Previous chapter Next chapter advertisement A laser shot neutralized Sero, who then shot towards the front of the Straw Hat pirate ship. A strange color flashed in Perusalino's eyes, and he saw two walls of fire rising from the sea to help the pirates escape. Perusalino turned around, looked at Stark, smiled and said regretfully, really, the ability of Fire Fist Ace, who died for 2 years, has appeared again. And it was acquired by Sabo, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army. It's really troublesome. That's what he said, but judging from his expression and tone, he didn't seem to feel any trouble at all. Is that so, Marine? Stark didn't care when he saw his Sero being cancelled. I just glanced at Pulsalino, and after seeing the identity of Pulsalino, I suddenly realized. By the way, brother, are you a member of the Espada Corps? Can you tell me, which Espada are you? I'm very curious. 99. Watching the pirates flee in the passage formed by the two walls of flames at sea, Pulsalino was not in a hurry. The two flame walls are too wide and tall, and there is no possibility for warships to pass through them. The escape of the pirates was inevitable this time. Unless he makes a serious shot himself, he can still intercept most of them. Only, if he really did that, then he wouldn't be called Kizaru. Run away and run away, anyway, these guys are irrelevant. Especially among those pirates, there is a special pirate group. What number? It's just a number, nothing to worry about. Stark said flatly. Humph, Stark is the first Espada of the Espada Corps. You wretched monkey, are you afraid? Advertisement Stark was too lazy to pay attention to Pulsalino, and was about to continue attacking the pirates who escaped, but Lilynette suddenly jumped out. He said proudly, he directly told Perusalino, Stark's numbering rank. It's really amazing, I didn't expect my little brother to be the first Espada. Hearing this, Pulsalino's pupils shrank sharply, and a look of shock flashed in his eyes. Unexpectedly, this middle-aged handsome uncle who has no motivation and is very lazy like him, is actually the first Espada of the Espada Corps. The strongest Espada, the third Espada shot once in the original Buster Call, and when she shot again, she killed Cracker, the third general of the Big Mom Pirates, in the palace of the Fishmen Island. At least one admiral's strength. It can be said that in the understanding of Marine and the world government, the top 4 of the Espada Corps are all terrifying existences that surpass the combat power of the 4 emperors. The 5th Espada, they have never met, but the 6th Espada Grimjow is also capable of overpowering the 2 admirals. That being said, the 5, 7, 8, 9 Espada is left without showing up. Lilynette. Seeing Lilynette taking the initiative to reveal her information, Stark gave Lilynette a helpless look. Dot for flowers. Seeing Lilynette, who was a little aggrieved by the other party's words, Stark felt even more helpless. He raised his hand and rubbed the other's head, indicating that he didn't mean to blame her. Lilynette smiled. Hey, I said you too. What are you talking about there? The pirates have already escaped. Advertisement at this time, the tornado that smashed the bullet and smashed the opponent to ashes also came, and saw that Stark and Lilynette were actually chatting with a wretched person. Immediately, he was so angry that he flew over and shouted in a bad tone. Sorry, Miss Tornado. I'm sorry, Sister Tornado. Seeing the tornado like a furious little lion, Stark Lilynette immediately felt embarrassed and apologetic. The two of them looked at the two walls of fire on the sea, and in such a short time, those pirates really ran a long distance. Almost disappeared at sea level. In the face of Tornado's reprimand, the two did not dare to refute or have opinions. After all, this woman is not only the king's lord, but one of the future concubines. Its own strength is not weak, and it is also a 6th-order powerhouse. The two naturally did not dare to refute. After all, he was indeed a jerk, and it was only natural that he had been reprimanded. And Pelusalino was surprised to see Stark, the first Espada, being reprimanded by a little girl like this. Who is this little girl who has such great power? Or is the opponent stronger than Stark? When I think of the Meteorite group that the tornado just cast, I can't help but narrow my eyes. On his wretched face, there was more thinking, and no one knew what he was thinking about. Humph! Stark, you bastard! Forget it, in the end, Miss Ben has to do it herself. In the end, Tornado also ended the scolding and preaching in the extremely helpless and bitter faces of Stark and Lilynette. Just 2 firewalls, put them out for me, advertisement. Looking at the 2 firewalls on the sea that spread far and wide, Tornado sneered. With a wave of his hand, his psychic power was activated, under the curious gaze of Pulsalino. A tsunami as high as several hundred meters rose up, rolling out the monstrous waves. The terrifying tsunami whistled and slapped and chased, and the 2 walls of fire on the sea were continuously extinguished. In the blink of an eye, he caught up with the last 20 or so pirate ships of the pirate group, under the horrified and desperate eyes of those pirates. Bang bang. A massive tsunami slaps, well, down. In an instant, more than 20 pirate ships were swallowed and annihilated, and turned into wreckage in the sea. Just when the 20-odd pirate ships in the front were lucky to escape, the tsunami behind them struck again. Kill them fiercely, the wind is coming, noon. On Thousand Sunny, Usopp Chopper Nami was so frightened that his pupils turned pale and screamed in horror. Others also looked solemn. With Frankie's loud shout, Thousand Sunny's stern jets instantly take off and rush out of the 10,000-meter sea. The other supernova pirates also resorted to various means and started their desperate journey. Humph! How many escaped? After a while, Tornado withdrew his power of thought and snorted. Chapter 178 to 163 Devil Fruit. The Origin of the World. The third update, please complete the order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement. Since she had already fled so far away, she didn't intend to pursue her anymore. Anyway, the entire new world is now in a state of being conquered by the army of Christy Kingdom, and these will be wiped out sooner or later. The most important thing is that there is a pirate group among them, with Davy's special attention. It's still useful to keep them. Gone. Glancing at Bluzelino with a wretched face, Tornado turned his head proudly and flew away. 6,699 Stark scratched his head and left with Lynette. I came here to work this time, and ended up launching 2 Ceros and going out. Purely came here to make soy sauce, and let the dragon rolls finish all the work. Stark can almost imagine that if the tornado blows the pillow wind on the king after returning to the kingdom, he will inevitably be reprimanded. If the Ace Day Admiral Army knew that he was so slack in his mission, he would not have to be frozen by the other party's soul ice for a few days. But thinking about it, it shouldn't be the case. After all, it's not that he is lazy, it's just that Miss Tornado is too quick. Stark comforted himself like this and disappeared from Pulsalino's sight. It's scary, Christy. In the sky, Pulsalino sighed. Facing the Christy Kingdom, where top powerhouses are emerging one after another, Pulsalino can already predict what a terrifying change the world is about to undergo. Advertisement shaking his head, Pulsalino no longer thought about these things, and used the movement of light to return to the main ship. Order the entire fleet to return. As for the guy who held the Pirate World Expo, he was killed by a meteorite group in his command base. Christy Kingdom, inside the King's Hall. Davy, who has been dashing for a month, finally found time. Davy is really overwhelmed with so many 2D girls looking for him to guide his practice. If it weren't for the games of Fudijuluki and tabletop football, he might be even busier. Fortunately, under his guidance and training, the strength of the female guards formed by the two-dimensional sisters has increased. He finally had time to work, can choose to summon once. Davy looked at the boxes of devil fruit in front of him. There are several devil fruits in each treasure box, and there are nearly 30 treasure boxes stacked in front of him. There are 120 artificial devil fruits, which were sent by Doflamingo in the past 2 years. Because he went to the world of Hokage, it was stored in the king's treasury. It was only taken out by him today. In addition to these 120 artificial devil fruits, there are also devil fruits collected by Doflamingo over the past 2 years. Zone 12, Paramecia 5, Logia 1, Eudemons 1, and the latest batch of 96-degree artificial devil fruit sent over half a month ago was kept by him, a total of 15 pieces. Keep it in the future to eliminate side effects, and then use it to make animal ears. In the past 2 years when Davy was away, a lot of treasures were collected in the kingdom, and there were a lot of good things sent by the world government. Among them are 5 Zone and 3 Paramecia. The nearby kingdom also sent a lot of materials, money and beauty, devil fruit, to curry favor with Christy Kingdom. Advertisement: 5 more Zone devil fruits plus 1 Paramecia devil fruit. Finally, adding Christy's own collection, there are also 8 Zone and 2 Paramecia devil fruit. In the end, Davy summed it up and collected a total of 30 Zone devil fruit, 11 Paramecia, 1 Logia, and 1 Eudemons. Plus 120 artificial devil fruits, all add up to a total of 163. And that's not even counting the latest batch of 15 superb artificial devil fruit. Fear. If Davy spreads this news, the whole world will not know how shocked it will be. So, it's time for Davy to pick and choose. Using the system's detection function, began to investigate one by one. Huh? Charming fox fruit? Keep it for now. Hi? Paramecia can change the appearance of the person you've seen? You must keep it? Black Panther? Trash. 35, Red Fox? No. Eudemons type, by Z. What the hell, I earned it. Ask for flowers, Paramecia, Logia, Storm fruit, keep it for now. 6,699 half an hour later, Davy picked out a Zone Phantom Fox fruit, Zone Phantom Cat fruit, Paramecia Variety fruit, Eudemons by Z fruit, and Logia Storm fruit. The rest are some relatively garbage abilities, and Davy naturally looked down on them, and chose to recycle them to the system. The system will recycle all the remaining devil fruits. Advertisement: okay. The system responded. Immediately after a swishing sound, golden light flickered, and all the devil fruits in the treasure chests were recovered. Ding! You recovered 120 artificial Zone devil fruit, and you got 10,700 origin points. Ding! You recovered 28 Zone devil fruit, and you got 3,512 origin points. Ding! You recovered 10 Paramecia devil fruit, and you got 1550 origin points, 99. 100 and dozens of devil fruit have been recovered. Davy got 15,762 origin points directly. plus the 6,200 origin point of the so-called devil's successor Devil's Bullet that was killed by the tornado a dozen days ago. There are also a large number of pirates that have been eliminated, and 3,200 origin points have been obtained. In addition to the more than 16,000 origin points he originally preserved. 41,662 origin points. The final origin point value directly reached more than 41,000. Davy nodded with satisfaction. This wave is really cool. It's just that there is still more than 8,000 origin points to perform 10 consecutive platinum summons. This makes Davy a little uncomfortable. Suddenly thinking of something, Davy pulled out a bunch of light orange treasures from the system warehouse. Open black lens bracket. The origin of the world. Close black lens bracket level. Diamond effect. The source intercepted from the source of one world can be integrated into one world to enhance its world potential. Introduction. This is the origin of the world intercepted from the world of Hokage. Be careful, this world has already remembered you and has been blacklisted. Chapter 179. Irene, Queen of Dragons. Uchiha Madara. The first update, please complete order. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Too much system. Before leaving, he didn't forget to dig a treasure from the willful lil brat in the Hokage world to reward him. But it was of no use to him. Davy has already won 2 world creation orbs in the last lottery, which have the effect of expanding the size of the world and creating life. The perfect Hogyoku is slowly changing the world of Hueco Mundo all the time. The origin of this world might as well be recycled. When the time comes, I will take a look at the origins of other worlds. System. How much is the origin point worth to recover this world origin? However, before recycling, Davy still asked. If the value is too low, it might as well go straight into his Hueco Mundo. Ding. This world origin is worth 150,000 origin points. The system's reply sound is dull though, but when Davy heard the value of the world's 3 origin, his eyes suddenly widened. How much? 50,000. Shit, Davy was instantly stunned. The light orange world origin, the size of half a palm, is worth 150,000 origin points. How many tasks did he have to do before to have so many origin points? Now that he has captured Kagayaji's love, he has just received such a generous reward. This is really a big surprise. Wife Kagaya is amazing. Davy can't help but miss Kagaya at this moment. But soon, Davy calmed down. Advertisement, recycle, 99. The next moment, the light orange light in Davy's hand suddenly disappeared. Ding, you recovered a copy of the origin of the world and obtained 150,000 origin points. The system's beep fell, and Davy also checked the total amount of origin points. 191,662 origin points. With 190,000 origin points, you can perform 3 platinum level 10 consecutive summons. System. Come to 10 consecutive platinum summons. Sitting on the throne, under Davy's control, this time he did not enter the starry sky that summoned the universe. But the summoned cosmic starry sky turned into a screen, presented in front of him, and only he could see it. Watching the platinum gold star on the screen shone with chaotic light, Davy's beautiful face showed a look of anticipation. Ding. You spent 50,000 origin points for 10 consecutive platinum summons. Ding. You performed 10 consecutive platinum summons and obtained the following items. Ding. Congratulations on getting the World Creation Orb 5. Ding. Congratulations on getting Chakra Fruit 1. Ding. Congratulations on getting the summoned character, One Punch, Monster Crossbow S, 39. Ding. Congratulations on getting the summoned character, Queen of Dragons, Irene Berserian. Ding. Congratulations on your 9 Tails Chakra. Ding. Congratulations on getting Ajuka's 10, 99. Ding. Congratulations on getting the Magic Element Crown, 35. Ding. Congratulations on obtaining a Pure and Holy Soul Crystal 100, 95. Ding. Congratulations on getting the Monster Fruit 5. Ding. Congratulations on getting the Summoned Character, Hokage Open Black Lens Bracket 6 Paths Uchiha Madara Close Black Lens Bracket, 99. 6,699 10 consecutive summons are over. Advertisement. Davy took a deep breath. This call is worth it. His long-awaited rice bowl is finally here. The Queen of Dragons, Irene Berserian. This Dragon Queen, Davy, likes it very much, with the beautiful appearance similar to Urza and the top beautiful figure. Davy licked his lips, showing a happy expression. It just so happened that Sister Remram, Gen Baby5, also came out of the apse with black tea and came to his side. Davy, please drink, honey, drink it. This is the black tea carefully brewed for you by Baby 5. Baby 5 brought over 2 cups of black tea at the same time, handed it to Davy and said in unison. Well. The two glared at each other. Okay, take a sip, 35. Oh, he remembered that he had already been heartbroken by Black Zetsu, but he did not expect to be resurrected from the Pure Land by the master in front of him with supreme power. Walking out of the gate of Uzumaki, Uchiha Madara respectfully took a few steps forward, knelt down on one knee, paid homage to Davy, and performed the ceremony of allegiance. Uchiha Madara, allegiance to you, His Majesty the King. Uchiha Madara fell into thinking, and Davy directly clicked on Uchiha Madara's panel properties. You must know that the original Kagayaji was only at the peak of the 6th order strength just after eating the fruit of the divine tree. A long black hedgehog with long black hair reaching his waist, carrying a flame fan on his back. The tail handle of the fan is still worried about an iron chain, and a sickle is hooked, which he holds tightly in his hand. I also knew why I was summoned. After reading the information of Uchiha Madara, Davy said. Talent. Reincarnation Sharingan, a mortal body advertisement. Looking at Davy on the throne, I can't help but have 1,000 thoughts in my heart. Yes. Ram nodded, then took Uchiha Madara away. Davy chuckled, and it seemed that Madara had been instilled with information about him on the way to being summoned. Is it actually a 7th order strength? Open black lens bracket Uchiha Madara 6 paths close black lens bracket. Then, I saw an Uzumaki door appear, and from it stepped out a man wearing a black tight-fitting combat uniform with a red layered armor on the outside. Weapons. Fan, scythe, black stick PS. Sorry for the late update, hee. I mainly wrote a story about Davy and Irene, which wasted some time, but this one can only be read by myself. Yes, my lord. Davy smiled helplessly, petting each other on his head a few times. After all, the clothes of the two here are a little too revealing, and they have to be summoned separately. As soon as this person appeared on the stage, he exuded a powerful and strong aura. Overall evaluation. The Sage of 6 Paths, which devoured the Divine Tree, has the ability to subvert the world. Abilities. Reincarnation Sharingan, Uchiha Fire Style, 5 Elements Yin-Yang, Summoning Technique, Impure World Reincarnation, Wood Style. Davy and Rem Baby 5 were left in the hall now. Seeing that no Uchiha Madara had left, Davy planned to summon Irene and the crossbows. Race. Fairy level. Elementary level 7. Then he drank 2 more sips of black tea, and then, snapped his fingers. Uchiha Madara nodded, saluted respectfully, and stood up. Ram, take Madara to get acquainted with the kingdom first. However, in the future Kagaya-ji, the Kagaya-ji who adapts skillfully and continuously develops the ability of 5.3, will definitely break through the 6th rank and reach the high rank of the 7th rank. Interesting, did you actually resurrect me in a perfect state? Get up, Madara. Chapter 180 Irene, the attributes of crossbows. Davy's anger, 2nd update, please complete the order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement watching Ram take away Uchiha Madara, the entire hall was left with himself and Ram Baby-5. Only then did Davy plan to summon Eren and the crossbows. The reason why the characters were summoned separately was because of the presence of Uchiha Madara. He didn't want Irene and Crossbow S to be seen, after all, the clothes of the two here were a little too revealing. My own 2-dimensional wife, only I can watch it unscrupulously. Therefore, it is necessary to separate the summons. Follow Davy's thoughts. The 2 Uzumaki doors reappeared. Ram opened her mouth slightly, a little surprised, and thought it was over. Didn't expect it to be there this time. Baby 5 also looked at the scene in front of him very curiously. After all, she hadn't met a few times in total, or was it the first time? However, she had also heard Remram say it before this scene of summoning a strong man. He would not say such top-secret information indiscriminately. Now that she's Lord Davy's woman, Isshin only thinks about Davy. Huh? Is this the new world? My master? From the door of Uzumaki, a weirdo in 18 sexy clothes with extremely exposed crossbows walked out with a whip of thorns. Curiously glanced around. Aha, really, the magical aura here is so thin. No, there should be no magic power at all, but there are other energies that can be converted into magic power. 99. Another Uzumaki is in the doorway, wearing a black cloak and black over the knee boots, with a strangely shaped hat on his head. She has a brown-yellow antler-shaped wand with black Madara dots in her hand, and has crimson hair. She has a stunning appearance that is strikingly similar to Elsa, with 4 braids. Advertisement Hungarian is a majestic, slender, mature queen who exudes an absolutely charming charm all over her body. Erin Berslyan came out of it. Feeling the energy in the air, her beautiful eyes are lightly wrinkled, and she commented on the world with a slightly unhappy tone. But when she saw Davy sitting on the throne, all the dissatisfaction instantly vanished. Eileen Berslyan, Crossbow S, allegiance to you, your majesty the king. The two fell to one knee at the same time, saluting Davy's allegiance. Get up, Erin, crossbows. Davy chuckled, and with a thought, a gentle force lifted the two up. Did you call me here, my lord? Irene walked in front of Davy with good-looking steps, leaned down her graceful figure, got close to Davy, and said with Pandan. Dot for flowers. Looking at the other party's less clothes, Davy pulled it into his arms and said, you are not allowed to wear this outside in the future, understand? What a domineering man, I know, I will only do this in front of you in the future, my king. Irene smiled and said charmingly, exhaling like a blue breath. What a lovely and domineering handsome man, however, she didn't find it annoying. Instead, I like the feeling of being pampered and valued. So cute, pecking Irene lightly, Davy raised his head, looked at Crossbow S, and said, and you too, Crossbow S. Good sir. Advertisement seeing that Davy was so friendly with another woman, Crossbows felt a little bit in his heart. However, when the master talked about himself again, he only allowed himself to be shown to the master. The crossbow was overjoyed and hurriedly agreed. Davy looked at the appearance of the crossbows and felt a burst of novelty. One Punch Man is an invincible comic, and most of the female characters are stunning. There are also some weird people who are quite amazing, such as this female weirdo Crossbow S. A whipped queen. It's just that this guy seems to have died quite tragically in the original book. Davy then opened her panel properties. Open black lens bracket crossbow S close black lens bracket. Level. Ghost level, 4th order, race, weirdo. Talent. S, spiritual enslavement abilities, whip, brainwashing. Weapon. Servant whip comprehensive evaluation. Queen S who is barely capable, but the heart of each S is the opposite. Forehead. To be honest, the level of crossbow S is a bit too weak. Davy had no doubts that the crossbow S had the 4th order rank of the ghost, and it was definitely enhanced by the perfection of the system. The ability of the crossbow S in the original book is the biggest reliance, and it has the ability to charm others to become her slaves. And also has the ability to endow those who are manipulated with powerful powers. I just don't know if the fangs and snake tongue of the other party will not exist after being perfected by the system. Check it out tonight. Advertisement. Davy nodded secretly, then looked at Aaron who was looking at him with a charming expression in his arms. Click on panel properties. Open black lens bracket Eileen Berslian close black lens bracket level. Level 113 at the beginning of the 7th order. Race. Dragon, human talent, super magic talent, dragon transformation. Abilities. Additional magic, Holy Dragon Slayer magic, dragon transformation, God's collapse star, change technique, ground collapse, lava burst, personality transplant. Click to view. Weapon. Antler wand comprehensive evaluation. The Queen of Dragons with super talent in magic is expected to become a god of magic. Level 7. Davy remembers that the fairy tale world is a world where gods exist. I didn't expect Irene to have the potential to become a god, but think about the strength she showed in the original book. This is not surprising. When I think of the courage, composure, justice and kindness of this woman for 400 years. After the end of the war, things changed abruptly. Nearly 2 years of torture and so on. The original character has become a cold, resourceful and ruthless character. Although now Davy also likes it even more. But thinking about the tragic things that Aaron suffered, Davy couldn't help but feel a burst of anger. Chapter 181 Crying Irene, the 3rd update, please complete the order. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Davy can see that the summoned Irene has also been perfected, and even the scar on the abdomen has disappeared. The belly of the perfect body is exposed. Davy directly used the contract of summoning the master and servant, and browsed through the tragic past that Irene had experienced. What surprised Davy was that the most crucial part of the 400 young Irene's history became blurred. Irene, do you remember what happened 400 years ago, after you became pregnant with Urza? Davy thought for a moment before asking. Davy, the child I'm pregnant with. Hearing Davy's question, Irene shuddered and froze. It's okay, I like Aaron's child very much too, tell me. Davy kissed Aaron lightly and comforted with a gentle smile. Hearing this, Irene finally breathed a sigh of relief. After all, deep in her heart, her love for Urza has never diminished. And if Davy minds that she has had children, then she really doesn't know how to deal with Davy. It's just that she didn't know how Davy would mind. Davy is still waiting for their mother and daughter to cook a meal for him. What's more, even with those pasts, Davy can find a way to return to the world 400 years ago and change everything. Actually 400 years ago, then it was time for Aaron to explain to Davy. After a few minutes, Davy nodded. Advertisement. It turned out that 400 years ago, a mysterious human appeared and suppressed the entire anti-human dragon race at that time. And rescued her original tragic fate, but the mysterious figure became illusory. She can't remember it all, but there was one thing that surprised Davy. That was the child Aaron was pregnant with at the time, not her continuation with anyone. It was her own use of magic and something to impregnate herself. As for what it was, because it was involved with that mysterious person, I can't remember it anymore. But Irene was still like in the original book, betrayed by her own kingdom and eventually destroyed the kingdom. So far, it has been classified into the mountains and forests and has spent 400 years. Then meet Jeff, and then join the kingdom of another continent. So it is. After listening to Aaron's explanation, Davy was relieved. As for the mysterious person Irene mentioned, Davy had some guesses, but he did not pursue it any further at this time. Let's go, it's lunchtime, I'll take you to try the food. As soon as Irene's matter was cleared up for the time being, Davy picked up Irene and said with a gentle smile. I don't really want to eat. Hearing that she was going to have dinner, a trace of loneliness and unwillingness flashed in Irene's eyes. Food? That kind of thing, she has not tasted for 400 years. It's not that I can't afford it, but because she has no sense of taste and lost the ability to taste the taste of food. Advertisement. Irene really didn't want to see those delicacies again, but she tasted like chewing wax and could only spit out the food in the end. But Davy knew exactly what happened to Aaron in the original book. But he hugged her and said mysteriously, let's go eat with me, maybe there will be surprises you didn't expect. Listening to the comforting words of her beloved man, Irene finally nodded in agreement. So I followed Davy to the dining palace, a long dining table filled with hundreds of dishes. The two were seated, a whole table more than 20 meters long, and a large group of girls were sitting around. The entire king's harem is full of female bodyguards and maids, and there is no other man at all. I said that I have to code words for thousands of handsome readers every day, can I waste time with you? The little author broke up with his girlfriend in a rage. She devoured it all and ate it all into her mouth. Years of life were like chewing wax, and she had long since been desperate. Brothers, am I doing it right? To be able to show such an ugly state, with such a mature beauty, one can imagine how many painful experiences she has experienced that ordinary people can't imagine. Biting the white teeth, a struggle flashed across the beautiful face, and then set up a piece of sweet barbecue and sent it into the mouth. Looking at the food on the table, Irene hesitated whether to eat a little with chopsticks. In the Imperial Palace, many girls looked at Irene, who was crying and eating food. How is this going? Now, let's fill our stomach first. Sitting around the dining table, Urza, who also had long, very good, hair with crimson, had some suspicion and strange feeling on her delicate and beautiful face. Wow, it's delicious. Why did she feel a very familiar feeling from this woman who was crying bitterly and devouring it? So Davy didn't care about the revealing clothes of Aaron and Crossbow S. They all looked at her with a caring expression. Advertisement. It's delicious, woohoo, really, it's delicious. 2 lines of clear tears flowed slowly from her beautiful eyes. As long as it is a creature, it cannot be rejected. Just as the West cannot lose Jerusalem, the 3D district cannot lose Tifa. This is the taste of food. Although it is very strange why Oni-san, who is so mature, has such a gesture, they did not show any expressions of disgust or disgust. After dinner, let Baby 5 take them to change. Although after breaking through the 5th order, you can absorb all kinds of special energy in the world to fill your stomach, but this kind of thing is delicious. Yes, mother? P.S. The little writer is very annoying. My girlfriend always sends me messages every now and then. This hotel has discounts, and that hotel has discounts. That kind of kindness made Urza a little infatuated, as if she was someone very close to her, right in front of her eyes. She has tasted food for the first time since she became a dragon and returned to human form with the help of Jeff. Looking at the other party's mature and beautiful face that is very similar to himself, and the crimson twisted hair. This is. Taste? Davy looked at her with a gentle smile, and Irene saw the encouragement in Davy's eyes. Tears were mixed with the food, and Irene was already crying, and she didn't care at all. As soon as the sweet barbecue entered the mouth, Irene, who had chewed 2 bites, was instantly stunned. Urza fell into deep thought, and Shunin couldn't help but wonder. Now that she can taste the deliciousness of food again, how could she dislike it? They could probably guess some from what Irene said in the devouring look. Chapter 182. The mother and daughter in tears, recognize each other harmoniously. 4th more, please complete the order. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. After looking at it for a long time, Urza looked at Davy in the main seat with questioning eyes. There was an inquiring look in her eyes, as if she was asking, who is this intimidating woman who gave her an inexplicable familiarity? What kind of relationship does it have with her? Davy, who was perceptive, naturally felt Urza's confused look, and after giving her a look to explain later, he looked at Aaron again. Getting Davy's eyes in response, Urza nodded lightly and didn't think anymore. After more than an hour, the imperial meal was finished and everyone left. Davy took Aaron and Urza back to the bedroom. Davy, how did I? After arriving at Davy's bedroom, Irene couldn't wait to ask. How did you recover your sense of taste? That's why I restored you when I called you to come. Facing Aaron's question, Davy replied with a smile. The system summons the character, and he is responsible for opening the summoning of the world, which is equivalent to him. No problem. In fact, relying on the ability of Hogyoku can also do all this. This perfect Hogyoku master in his hand is completely a bug gem. Not only that, your dragon transformation ability has also been improved by me, and you will become a normal human being with the ability to transform into a giant dragon in the future. This is also another feature of Aaron after being perfected by 113. It is also the root cause of the elimination of the side effects after Irene dragonization. Really? Haha, 9, great, Davy, thank you, Flutter? Advertisement. Hearing this, Irene was overjoyed and threw herself into Davy's arms. Cough, okay. Davy got rid of it, then looked at Urza, who was waiting for an answer, and said, Urza, the next thing I'm going to say, don't be afraid. Urza was stunned for a moment, and then her delicate cheeks became tense and serious. Mei stared at Davy, waiting for him to say something earth-shattering. Actually, Aaron, Davy said solemnly, I'm your mother, Urza. But before he could finish, wiping the tears of joy from the corners of his eyes, Irene looked at Ursha with a benevolent expression and said in a very gentle tone. Hey, how are you? Davy frowned. How could this woman, Irene, steal her lines? But Irene smiled mischievously, wrapped her arms around his neck, and offered a sweet kiss. Okay, this matter should have been told by me, don't be angry, okay? At night, you can do what you want. The last sentence, Irene was close to Davy's ear, spit out Pandan. After he finished speaking, he gave Davy a small wink. How different from the ruthless queen Davy imagined. Perhaps, this is the performance of a woman falling into a beloved man? Davy accepted Aaron's attitude of admitting his mistake and thought to himself. What? You are, my mother. When Urza heard the words, her whole body was like a thunderbolt from the blue, and she smashed her with a thunderbolt, making her foolish. Advertisement. The whole person was stunned. After saying a sentence, Mei's eyes widened and her pupils shrank, and she fell into a big earthquake in her inner world. After a long time, Urza calmed down the great shock and disbelief in her heart. She looked at her mother, Irene, with extremely complicated eyes. Since she said she was her mother, why was she abandoned on a hill when she was a child? I'm sorry, Urza, my daughter. Looking at Ursha's complicated face, Eren felt a pain in her heart. Released the body that hugged Davy, walked to Urza, and hugged her tightly. Because of my personal reasons, so I have to do that. In my heart, I have always loved you deeply. Next, Irene told about her tragic fate and why she abandoned her. It is destined that he, the loving master, will save these two-dimensional sisters and give them the happiness they should have. For a moment, Davy felt moved. Looking at the perfect and recognizable mother and daughter, Davy smiled with satisfaction. But Irene wiped away her tears, with a kind of motherly love in her eyes, hugged Ursha and said, I know, you may still hate me in your heart, and you left you so cruelly. Why bother to hate this relationship? Hey, it seems that it was destiny to summon this pair of mother and daughter. 66.99 I just don't know how Irene and Elsa's cooking skills are, and whether they taste good or not. This thank you comes from the sincere and tearful gratitude of the mother and daughter of Eren Ursha. This seems to be the first time he has played against a 7th order powerhouse. In the end, Urza still did not choose to hate her mother. This guy got it all at once. Advertisement, thank you, Davy. After a long time, BIFD, Urza also shed 2 lines of tears. This is the happy ending that should be in the 2nd dimension. Don't be polite to me, after all, you and I don't have to talk about this. Eren gave Davy a charming glance. It's okay, you have already admitted me, I will wait for you, when you really stop resenting me. As if thinking of something, Urza's delicate and beautiful cheeks instantly turned red. P.S. 4th update, ahem. Some things really can't be shared. Let's talk about it, handsome, do you want to establish a base? Ask him for guidance and practice. The battle continued for a day and a night. During the period, if Davy hadn't launched the space barrier, otherwise the entire kingdom would have been destroyed by the full-strength battle of the 2 7th order combat powers. It wasn't until midnight that Irene came to Davy's bedroom. Listening to Eren's recounting of the past, Ursha looked at her mother, and her heart also throbbed, very distressed. Mother, Urza opened her mouth, wanting to say something. This chapter contains pictures. Click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. The misunderstanding was resolved, and he also had a dearest relative. After that, Irene took Ursha to catch up with the old days and talk about mother-daughter sweet talk. As a result, a battle of the 7th order powerhouses began. Davy is also delighted with Irene's training guide. After all, in the original book, this pair is a bit too miserable. No, I don't hate you, mother. HMPH, you will be beautiful in the future. Davy laughed, wrapping both of them into wide arms. Chapter 183 Level 7, Davy's Horror Panel, first update, please complete order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement a few days later, after the mother and daughter of Eren Ursha reconciled, the relationship grew day by day. In order to appreciate Davy's kindness, Irene and Elsa's mother and daughter joined hands to cook a table of good dishes. I ate this meal for 2 days. Eren and Ursha and their mother and daughter are very enthusiastic to entertain Davy and cook. Eat Davy's mouth full of oil, linger, in the end, Davy can't help but sigh that the meal made by Eren Ursha and her daughter is indeed very delicious. The meals that mother and daughter cook together by themselves are really something, very delicious. In the future, I can let Eren Ursha and her daughter cook more, and Davy likes their cooking. Davy, who was free, sat on the throne and began to check the things he had summoned earlier. A few days ago, he only performed 10 consecutive platinum summons, and the remaining origin points are not going to be used again. Save it to unlock the diamond summoning pool and use it later. After all, the diamond summoning pool to be unlocked next time will cost 10,000 origin points for a single summoning. World creation orbs and pure and holy soul crystals don't need to be seen. The world creation orb is thrown directly into the Hueco Mundo and fused. Now the entire world of Hueco Mundo is almost the same as the world of pirates. After these 5 orbs are thrown in and fused, it will probably be 2 or 3 times larger than the world of pirates. Open black lens bracket chakra fruit close black lens bracket level. Platinum effect. After taking it by a specific race, you can obtain the power of bloodline degeneration and obtain extremely powerful abilities. Other races are also edible and then gain powerful abilities. Advertisement introduction. The cultivation of the divine tree absorbs the fruits of the entire planet and possesses the power of divine energy. Isn't this the fruit of the divine tree? This can be left to Kagaya-ji at that time to make her bloodline power go further. Open black lens bracket 9 tails chakra close black lens bracket grade. Platinum effect. It can be integrated into the body and turned into a power that can be manipulated at will, becoming 9 tails Jinchuriki mode, with almost unlimited 9 tails chakra energy forever. Introduction. This is a complete 9 tails chakra power with extremely powerful power. Complete? Davy frowned, isn't it draining 9 tails? Forget it, just 9 tails. Being drained of chakra energy and dying has nothing to do with him. Davy then looked at the last 2 remaining items. Magic element crown and monster fruit. Open black lens bracket magic element crown close black lens bracket. Grade. Platinum effect. With this crown, the magic element will continue to grow, completely control the 9 magic elements of gold, wood, water, fire, earth, thunder, scenery, darkness, and possess 9 top-level magic talents. Introduction. The way of the Dharma God has been clear, integrated, you are the strongest Dharma God. Open black lens bracket monster fruit close black lens bracket grade. Platinum effect. After eating it, you can get the ability to be weird and have magical power. Advertisement after being used by geeks, they can be evolved and enter a higher level, can be eaten in large quantities. Introduction. A fruit that surpasses ordinary monster cells, its efficacy is 10 times that of monster cells. All finished. Davy couldn't help but squeaked in amazement. This magic element crown can be used by Irene, and Urza's words are still tender. When there is something better later, I will give it to Urza. Davy plans to use Hogyoku's power first to enhance Urza's dressing magic. The most suitable magic for Urza is dress-up magic, and since that is the case, let her go all the way. After all, Urza, who has dress-up magic, can use all magical abilities. At that time, you can create some special armor for Urza. For example, Dragon Slayer armor, God Slayer armor, and so on. The rest of the monster fruit, don't think about it. It must only be eaten by the Crossbow S, the Queen of S. The monster cells in One Punch Man also have terrible side effects. If you can't bear it and eat too much, it will lead to immediate death. Ordinary humans who eat a monster cell can gain ghost-level strength after enduring the erosion of the monster cell. You can imagine how terrifying this thing is. After these 5 monster fruits were eaten by the Crossbow S, the evolution broke through to the dragon level, and there must be no problem. After reading these things, Davy opened his own panel properties. Open black lens bracket Davy close black lens bracket occupation, Great Summoner, King advertisement. Kingdom. Christy Kingdom open black lens bracket LV5 close black lens bracket ask for flowers rank, 7th order true king. Race. Human, void Arankar, characteristic, dragon, characteristic. Talents. Summoning, code-devouring evolution, shadow manipulation, soul-devouring ice, dragon transformation. Click to view all. Abilities. Space shuttle, void walk, space imprisonment. Top observation hockey foreseeing the future, conqueror's hockey, king's fist, king's awakening, king's deterrence, million layer ryatsu, high-speed regeneration, steel skin, loud turn, Sero, celestial magic, 9-hook jade samsara sharingan, Eudemon's white dragon, giant magic, perfect 8 inner gates. Open black lens bracket click to view all close black lens bracket equip weapons, perfect Hogyoku, special equipment, premium storage ring. Summons. Aizen Sosuke, Ulquiorra Cipher, Tia Helliber, Esdes, Aaron Berserian, Urza, Yun Yun, Ram, Terumi Mei, Medusa, Nangong that month, Uchiha Madara. Open black lens bracket click to view all close black lens bracket. Warehouse. King's Gloves, Espada Zanpakuto *5, Kyoka Suigetsu, Skeleton Emperor, Black Winged Demon, Empress Jiao, Antelope Knight. Essence of Soul Crystal Core 80, Pure and Holy Soul Crystal 210, Silver Rank Designation Summoning Ticket X1, Potion of Rampage, Flesh of Another World God, Dark Fruit, Tigu 9, Potion of Demon God's Energy, Transforming Pill 3, Super Shock Photon Sword, Blood Bodhi Fruit 5, Divine Tree Seed 5, Nine Tails Chakra. Open black lens bracket click to view all close black lens bracket. Origin point. 141,662 comprehensive evaluation. A great king summoner has shown his king's edge. Extremely luxurious panel properties. Davy has broken through from the 6th order realm to the 7th order real king realm. It is no longer a problem to create an independent portable world. In addition, Esdes has also broken through to the 7th order. Soul Eater is the ice type ability that Esdes has evolved after training with an icebox. Has the ultimate ice power that directly freezes the soul to death. Chapter 184 Secretary Monet. Wanokuni, second update, please complete order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement the ice that can freeze the soul to death with this hand alone is already the ultimate power. In the face of Esdes, we must not only deal with the cold of the body, but also the cold of the soul. Who can handle this? Unless the soul itself is relatively strong, it can have a good innate resistance, or have the means to resist the protection of the soul. Otherwise, once they encounter it and are attacked, it is a proper lamb to be slaughtered. Shaking his head, Davy stopped thinking about it. Take a bottle of purple liquid medicine from the system warehouse. The medicine of the devil's energy. This is a platinum level potion. After taking it, it can increase a lot of spiritual power, and the energy and magic power will skyrocket 10 times. In the introduction of the system, it used the medicine of energy diluted several times by a drop of blood of the devil. Davy looked at the purple liquid potion that shone brightly in his hand, and it was quite intimidating. After drinking, 117, can the energy in a certain area also increase 10 times? With a low murmur, Davy poured a gulp into his mouth. The purple potion melts in the mouth. Next moment, Davy felt his whole body heat up and his mind became clear. In his body, an illusory little person is in the mind of the gods. There is a splendid star universe around a little man, revolving around him, like the main god who controls the universe. With the potion of the magic god's energy medicine taking effect, a huge spiritual force merged into the stars. That piece of Xingyu became more solid, exuding inexplicable power. One of these planets is the Hueco Mundo, world controlled by Davy. Advertisement. In addition, Davy found that his energy has indeed become more exuberant. Sisters are even more blessed. Platinum stuff, there's really something. Withdrew from the inner vision, Davy showed a satisfied smile. Honey, your tea. At this time, Baby 5 came out from the side room at the back of the palace with black tea and dessert. The delicate and beautiful face blushed and came to Davy's side. Well, come and sit. Remlum was not by his side. Davy pulled Baby 5 directly into his arms. Honey, do you need me again? Sitting in Davy's arms, Baby 5 hugged Davy with a flushed face. Yes, I'm very hot right now, Davy said in an unusual tone. I just took the medicine of the devil's energy, can I not get angry? Okay, dear. When Baby 5 heard the words, a happy expression appeared on his face, and he began to know the way. Davy raised his hand to cast the barrier, and the palace gate flickered illusorily. After a long time, the snow maiden Monet silently walked out from the backside room of the palace and sent Baby 5 back to the resting bedroom. Hey, it's too weak. Davy shook his head. Just when he was about to go to eat with Aaron Ursha and his daughter, he suddenly heard a system prompt. Make him stop. Ding, your subordinate Deidara killed Charlotte Perispero and gained 2,500 origin points, 35. Oh, has it started yet? Hearing this system prompt sound, Davy suddenly showed a playful smile. Advertisement, it looks like a good show is about to start. Soon, a screen projection appeared in front of him. In the picture, it is a good show staged in Wanokuni. Davy sat back on the throne, and then the snow girl Monet came back wearing an OL white dress with hips and high heels. Davy smiled at her, and Monet's pale cheeks flushed. Has long been restored to normal by Davy, Monet stepped on an elegant pace and sat in Davy's arms. This suit is very good, suitable for serious business, but you still need to check your physical condition. Davy praised and rudely checked Monet's body after he recovered to a normal human. Humph, Monet hummed shyly. Immediately afterwards, Davy looked at the screen projection. And Monet continued to do what she should do as a secretary. He even vomited blood, on the island of ghosts, in Kaido's cave. Once lost to that member of the Espada Legion in Christy's Kingdom, the dead skeleton with his skinny ability. Just the thought of Christy's Kingdom and the terrifying Espada made Kaido calm down. I hope you don't seek death. Another time, he almost lost to his former little brother, Doflamingo. But Kaido almost got red-eyed and killed the Straw Hat Boy directly. Hey, are those guys all soft? After all, he is also a very loving person. Although in the end, he was angry and defeated the Straw Hat Boy, and he was imprisoned in the prison for mining minerals. After all, I lost to the monsters like Espada, and I almost lost to Doflamingo, who also became a monster like Espada. Advertisement, hear the answer from the minions' subordinates. Shame. Thank you, T245. For the great monthly pass. Thank you, Dream Return. For the 2000 V points, Neil, and thank you, handsome guys. This cave is where Kaido often stays. When the waiter was asked, his face suddenly froze, and he quickly responded with flattery. Later, when he was drunk, he ran into the Straw Hat Boy and fought with him. HMPH, what a bunch of ignorant little devils. No toasting, no eating, and fine drinking. P.S. Come. Sorry Shuebi, the update is slow. At this time, Kaido was gloomy and frantically pouring wine. When the wine in the gourd was exhausted, he immediately discarded it and smashed it. His beasts pirates still need more high-end combat power and mid-tier combat power. And this Straw Hat Boy can also burst into Admiral's level of strength. Kaido has to look at it. But don't worry, the work of mining the ore factory is not so easy. Sooner or later they will give in and kneel at your feet, Boss Kaido. He must beware of the Christy Kingdom launching a conquest against him, and must recruit a lot of powerful people to help him consolidate the territory and fight the enemy. Not yet, Boss Kaido. 35 today, he is still spitting up blood by a stinky little devil. Kaido is annoyed in his heart. 5.3. Humph. If it weren't for Christy's goddamn kingdom, those hard bones, lousy would kill them all. One can imagine how angry Kaido was in his heart. Kaido thought and knew, those so-called supernovas were probably determined to oppose him and were unwilling to submit to him. The thought of that damned kingdom made Kaido's face change, turning gloomy. Wanokuni. Therefore, he had no choice but to temporarily detain these supernovas who did not know whether to live or die. Kaido asked sharply towards the subordinates who were waiting beside him with a displeased expression. Chapter 185. The Angry Charlotte Linlin. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement in the Rabbit Well mining prison on the other side. Everyone looked at the four emperors' Big Mom who broke into the Rabbit Well prison in shock. Quinn, in particular, was most surprised. Why is Big Mom here? Hey. Didn't she get kicked off the waterfall by Jin? The Quinn people were scared and stupid. Wasn't the Anthem pirate ship led by Big Mom's many children kicked down the waterfall by Jin? Big Mom himself was thrown directly into the waterfall. How come he is still alive and well, and he was sent to the prison of the Tujing Quarry? This stinky old woman is already like this, isn't it? She really deserves to be the four emperors, her life force is strong enough. With an extremely ugly face, Quinn looked at Big Mom who broke into the prison and shouted, talking about Enko rice cake soup. Actually, to be able to destroy that big iron gate, this old woman, isn't it terrifying? The prison guard was full of horror and said incredulously. Enko rice cake soup, where is it? Big Mom looked around and shouted in anticipation. 18M. Hearing Big Mom's words, Quinn suddenly had blue veins on his forehead and gritted his teeth. Old lady, did you just say Anko rice cake soup? Yeah, hurry up and give it to me, but I heard that you can eat whatever you want when you come here, eat enough, and eat delicious Anko rice cake soup. Where is it? Anko rice cake soup, hurry up and give it to me. Gollum, oh, I'm so hungry, wait a second. Big Mom touched his fat belly. Advertisement gently comforting his stomach, he turned to look at Quinn and said, where's my Anko rice cake soup? Hurry up and give it to me, I came here from a long way. What are you kidding? How could Anko rice cake soup be given to you? Who is this gibberish? Listening to the words that Big Mom kept saying, Quinn got angry and directly retorted. You actually said you can eat as much as you want? Does this mean that after knowing that I like to eat Anko rice cake soup the most, I have to come here and do something bad? If it wasn't for the four emperors' Big Mom, who was as famous as Kaido, Quinn couldn't help but burst out and rush to fight him. It's just that he was enduring his anger, but what Luffy said next directly blew him up. Hey, hurry up and let the two of them out. When you are doing those things, the thorn-headed man and the others are about to drown. That kind of trivial matter, can we talk about it later? Luffy wore an exploding slave collar with a look of urgency. Watching Big Mom and Quinn talking about the Anko rice cake soup, he couldn't help but interrupted. What are those insignificant things called? 99 hearing this, Quinn frowned, and her face became hideous. A powerful aura was released, and then, under the astonished gaze of everyone, the body slowly swelled, and then it turned into a huge orange brachiosaurus. Anko rice cake soup is Lousy's oxygen, Lousy's life, asshole, 9. Transformed into a giant brachiosaurus, Quinn roared in anger. Oops, Lord Quinn, is this about to fight? The deputy head guard Sasori was shocked and took a few steps back. Wait, Lord Quinn, if there is a fight with the four emperors' Big Mom over food issues, it will be a big deal. Lord Quinn. The warden of the prison quickly dissuaded him. It's just that Quinn was already furious, and he wouldn't listen to the advice of a small subordinate. Advertisement whoosh. Exhaling a lot of smoke from his nostrils, Quinn, who had turned into a huge brachiosaurus, said coldly. There is indeed a lot of Anko rice cake soup here, but these are all mine. But you don't want to get even a drop of Anko rice cake soup from me, stinky old woman. Don't mention Anko rice cake soup in front of me again, go away, stinky old woman. After saying that, an angry Quinn moved his huge brachiosaurus body and slammed into Charlotte Linlin. 35 however, what Quinn said also thoroughly angered Charlotte Linlin. I saw Charlotte Linlin, who was flashing scarlet and red, jumped up, and under Quinn's unbelievable gaze, she flew high and directly grabbed his head. Enough. Hand me the Anko rice cake soup, swish. Charlotte Linlin grabbed Quinn's head with one hand, and a terrifying force exploded, pressing Quinn's head and smashing it to the ground. Bang bang. A huge roar sounded, and Quinn, who angered Charlotte Linlin, was killed by a head touch. Lord Quinn. Hey, Sama, Quinn Sama was beaten up by Big Mom. Everyone was shocked by this sudden uprising. In particular, the Pirates of Beasts pirates witnessed the violent beating of their own boss. The scene in front of me was really shocking. Quinn, who was so powerful, was actually suppressed by one move. On the other side, Wanokuni's overseas. Several huge warships slowly approached Wanokuni. On the main ship. Advertisement, hey, are you sure this is right here? Tornado looked at a woman with pink hair next to her with a bad tone. This woman has rosy red hair, azure blue eyes, and peculiar lower eyelashes, 117. He has a very good figure and has a punk-style temperament. She landed in Dressrosa with Jack just over a year ago, and Jack was killed. The rest of the Beast's pirates in jail, Kim Rummy. But now, she is the guide brought along by Doflamingo. Yes, it is. Looking at the petite tornado, Jin Rami had a look of horror on his face. The power of this woman is completely beyond the imagination of ordinary people. On the route to Wanokuni, she witnessed a terrifying sea kings with a body of thousands of meters, and was directly condensed into a twist by the petite girl in front of her. She was really afraid that she would be twisted into a twist. Sigh. Lord Tornado, this is indeed Wanokuni. Doflamingo smiled strangely and said to the tornado with great respect. Shut up, the laughter is terrible. Laugh again and throw you into the sea, 99. Hearing Doflamingo's words and the laughter, Tornado frowned and shouted. Doflamingo fell silent, and responded with a grumpy voice. Chapter 186 Christy is on Wanokuni, second update, please complete order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement in the face of Tornado's scolding, Doflamingo did not dare to refute it. After all, this one is one of the king's concubines. What's more, its own strength is also extremely terrifying. The terrifying guy known as the Devil's Heir Douglas Bullet. They were directly killed by this delicate and beautiful petite woman in front of her. A group of meteorites fell directly, and the ashes were burned away. This kind of terrifying powerhouse that can pull down meteorites from outer space, Doflamingo felt his scalp tingling when he thought about it. And the 10 ships that came to Wanokuni at this time were exactly the legions of the Kingdom of Christy who launched a siege against the 4 emperors. This legion fleet was headed by Halibel, followed by Tornado and Stark. The rest of the summoned characters are Halibel's 3 sister subordinate officers, Deidara, Natsu, the 5th Espada Neutra, the 3 Tails Isofu, and so on. There is also Doflamingo, who got news of Christy's kingdom's action and is preparing to attack Wanokuni. Take the initiative to invite the war to follow. After all, he was almost killed by Kaido of the Beasts last time. This time, of course, I have to follow my thighs to find the place, and there are Espada members who are stronger than Ulquiorra. Doflamingo thinks about how miserable Kaido of the Beasts will be next. It is bound to be tortured by blood. After this battle, the 4 Emperor's Beasts pirates, Kaido of the Beasts will be removed. In addition to these people, Christy Kingdom sent 50,000 troops. 2,000 ghost ninjas and 100,000 low-level virtuals are on standby in Hueco Mundo, waiting for the Espadas to tear open the black hole at any time and attack Wanokuni. Destroy the 4 Emperors Kaido, Beasts pirates, capture Wanokuni, and divide it into vassal states. HMPH, interesting, independent country built on a mountain waterfall? Tornado snorted and looked up at the towering mountains with only cliffs and waterfalls. Advertisement, so, is this the entrance without landing? The tornado glanced around and found nowhere to land. Yo, hubby, let's fly up. Feeling that the fleet finally stopped, Natsu finally took a breath. He quickly stood up and said cheerfully to hubby who was flying beside him. Stupid Natsu. This place is probably more than 1,000 meters high and I don't know what's going on there. It's impossible to fly up, I'll fight. Hubby looked at Natsu as if looking at a big idiot and said sharply, not forgetting to give Natsu a slap on the head. It hurts. Then let's swim up, as Gildas said, this is all cultivation. Yoshi. I'm on fire. After Natsu pondered for a moment, he clapped his fist and realized an epiphany. Excitedly, he was about to grab hubby and let him fly Uzumaki over the sea with him, and then start swimming up the waterfall. I said, hot-blooded idiot, can you stop the meeting? Noisy. 99 bang bang. With the sound of a crisp and tender voice, a terrifying psychic power broke out, suppressing Natsu instantly. Natsu, you idiot, together with Harpy, who was also innocently suppressed, Harpy wanted to cry without tears. Natsu, this idiot, is going upstream against the waterfall, can you have such an idea, are you still a person? Damn it, tornado let me up. Why Natsu, who was ruthlessly suppressed, immediately began to struggle and screamed. Hey, really, why did Lord Davy send this guy with us? That's right, a pure-blooded idiot, advertisement. It's really nerve-wracking. Apache, Mira Rhodes, and Sun raised their foreheads speechlessly and began to complain. The terrifying power of nature, even Manos Grandes like them will not be easily underestimated. Why is this guy still talking such nonsense? Buddha. As far as I know, to go up from here and land on Wanokuni through the waterfall, you need to catch a few giant carp. Drag the boat up the waterfall to the inland sea above, and officially enter Wanokuni. On the side, Doflamingo just laughed out loud, and was immediately stunned by the tornado. He suddenly stopped the laughter and explained with a shy smile. Of course, there must be a safe way to get into Wanokunas. Saying that, Doflamingo looked at Kim Rami of the Beast's Pirates with a sullen smile. There is indeed a safe way to log in to Wanokuni. Suddenly, Doflamingo's words drew all eyes to him, and Kim Rami was startled. After a moment of hesitation, he gritted his silver teeth and reluctantly suggested another way. Another method of safe landing that we share with the Beast's Pirates in Wanokuni is to open up the falls and pass through the caves under the falls. The end of the cave is the diving port, after which the crew and cargo are pulled up by gondolas. The last place to pull up from the diving port is the White Dance Township in Wanokuni. Of course, if you want to enter and open the waterfall and pass through the cave, you must get the permission of Kaido and General Orochi. Snapped. Having said all this, Kim Rami slumped on the deck with a snap. When it was over, she explained Wanokuna's secret information. Jin Rami sighed in his heart. Forget it, anyway, after this time, she will be given to the big man by Doflamingo as a slave. Kim Rami had given up struggling and resisting in the past 2 years. Advertisement, interesting, is there such an operation? After hearing what Jin Rami said, Tornado immediately became interested. Humph. Lord Tornado, don't be so troublesome, just let me go up and kill them all. Inotra is impatient, do you still need so much trouble? Wouldn't he just fly up and slaughter everyone? Shut up. If it were that simple, Lord Davy would only have to send Stark alone, why do you need to make such a move? Tornado scolds, and looks at Inotra with cold eyes. Inotra's expression froze, and she turned her head away with a snort. 66.99 Stark, whose name was suddenly called, scratched his head. Step on. Lynette, who was standing with him, stepped on him. In my heart, I scolded Stark for being a big idiot, and when I came to another world, I still looked like this salted fish. Forget it, the trouble is dead. Let's use superpowers to bring the entire fleet up. After thinking about it for a while, Tornado didn't intend to go through the cave passage under the waterfall. In this case, the entire fleet of Christy Kingdom will not be able to land. This behavior is so cheap. Tia-sama, what are you doing? All of a sudden, the three of Sun cried out in surprise. Chapter 187. Jin blocks, Deidara takes action. The third update, please complete the order. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. The surprised soft cries of the three Sun rang out. Immediately, everyone's eyes turned to Halibel, who was walking towards the bow of the warship. The three of Sun watched Halibel take out Zanpakuto, and they all looked excited and expectant. I'm coming. The stronger Tia-sama, a rare chance to get out. As Halibel's loyal subordinates, the three of them have an unparalleled sense of confidence in Tia-sama, whom they admire and look up to. Being able to watch Tia-sama's battle was undoubtedly the happiest thing for them. Huh? Halibel. Tornado's beautiful eyes wrinkled, tilted his head, and he wanted to say something. It's just that Halibel carried them on his back, walked to the bow of the boat, and said, "You don't need to use your superpowers, let me come this time." Saying that, Halibel turned his head slightly and looked at everyone on the deck. So handsome and sassy. Master Tia, show your strength to your heart's content. Seeing that Halibel was really about to do it, the three subordinate sisters, Sun, immediately cheered. Turn into a crazy little fangirl shaking and shouting. Squeak. 99 Tornado grinded his teeth and turned his head to stare at the three sisters. The expression on his face was obvious, but 117 was saying, don't shout and shout. The three Sun suddenly stopped the fangirl mode and smiled at the Tornado. Advertisement. We are all sisters, and Tornado will not treat them with the same arrogant attitude towards those men. Let me see, the strength of the third Espada. Tornado Meimu looked at Halibel's performance expectantly. This is the first time she's about to see Halibel's first shot as the third Espada. Although I have occasionally teamed up to fight with Davy before and practiced. But obviously the previous situation is not the previous situation. There is a big difference. Conquer him, Queen of the King, 35. Standing on the bow, Halibel pulled out Zanpakuto behind him, and his graceful figure jumped up. In midair, Zanpakuto slashed, and a huge wave like a pearl mussel appeared below, surrounding Halibel. Then the huge wave disappeared, and Halibel appeared in a conservative dress, holding a giant sword with a shark gill pattern in his hand. Sea currents and reverse waterfalls. With a high-pitched voice, Halibel slashed out the shark-shaped giant sword in his hand, and BIFD, a huge current of water crashed into the sea. In this Uzumaki Sea area, under the shocked gazes of everyone, the originally violent Uzumaki Sea area was slowly smoothed and suppressed. It has become a normal calm sea. This is awesome. Can you even do such a thing? Lord Tia, too strong? 46 many characters exclaimed, and the soldiers of the kingdom on the fleet were also shocked, and they shouted and chanted Halibel's name. However, what really shocked them had just happened. What's going on? The sea. Look, the sea is going upstream. Really, you see, the waterfall is starting to go upstream. Advertisement. Is this also what Tia-sama did? 6695. I saw that the sea surface that was suppressed and calmed began to flow back, and the waterfall that was rushing down began to flow upward. The waves were surging, and 10 ships of Christy Kingdom rushed up the waterfall. The violent countercurrent currents engulfed huge waves, pushing 10 warships upwards continuously. Wanokuni, the surveillance room of the beast's pirates. Report. Another ship has come to the waters off Wanokuni. The number of enemy fleets is 10 warships. In the monitoring room, the monitoring staff suddenly screamed and called for a report. In the screen displayed by the monitoring snails, it is the fleet of Christy Kingdom. What? Jin opened his pupils and walked quickly to the huge screen with some bloodshot eyes. Why not attack and block? The enemy has entered the sea off Wanokuni, 99. Jin's ferocious aura was released, and he looked at these subordinates fiercely. Jin, Lord Jin, the cannons that stopped the Big Mom pirate ship were destroyed by the opponent, and the surveillance snails were also destroyed a lot. So, in the face of one of the three disasters, the fire disaster, a group of little scoundrels explained in horror. Forget it, these guys didn't catch the huge carp, so they shouldn't know about the carp rushing up to the waterfall. Seeing what was displayed on the screen, the fleet was parked in the outer sea, and Jin suddenly calmed down. However, a scene that made him stunned immediately happened. In the picture, a blonde woman with wheat-colored skin flew into the sky, transformed into another posture, and slashed the giant sword along with it. The entire turbulent vortex sea area actually calmed down, and then the seawater in the waterfall went upstream, and the huge waves wrapped 10 warships and began to go upstream. Advertisement. What's going on? This woman, can you do this with human power? You bastard? Monster. Seeing this scene, Jin and his subordinates were all stunned and shocked. Shout out in disbelief. A bunch of rubbish, and I have to go out in person. He glanced coldly at the little scoundrels in the monitoring room. Jin snorted coldly, exuding a terrifying aura, and left the monitoring room. Whoever it is not allowed to enter Wanokuni in any form without the permission of Mr. Kaido. Jin walked out of the ghost building on Ghost Island, ran quickly and then jumped off the cliff. Immediately afterwards, it turned into a black toothless pterosaur that was burning with flames, and soared into the sky from under the cliff. Fly quickly towards Baiwu Township. It didn't take a long time to reach Baiwu Township and the waterfall in the inner sea. let out the neigh of the toothless pterodactyl, and rushed to the 10 ships of Christy Kingdom. Huh? That flag is. Jin, who turned into a toothless pterosaur, hovered high in the sky, ready to find the best timing and entry point to attack, and smash the entire fleet in one fell swoop. Just after this careful investigation, Jin suddenly discovered a problem, and his heart jumped. Pupils shrink suddenly. This is Christy Kingdom's fleet? When he saw the flags of these 10 warships, Jin was shocked. Chapter 188 Deidara's Fierce Battle Against Embers. The first update, please complete the order. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Oh, is there a bird here? On the main ship, Tornado raised his eyes and looked at Jin flying around the fleet in the sky. Halibel, who had returned to the main ship, glanced at the toothless pterosaur and then withdrew his gaze. An enemy of this level does not need her to do anything at all. Just leave it to the rest of the summoning characters, and she has no interest in dealing with it. It seems quite interesting. Is it a pterosaur transformed from a human? Let me meet him, Deidara grinned and squeezed out the explosive clay giant bird. The figure jumped up, riding on the clay bird, rushing into the sky, and rushing towards the toothless pterosaur. Blast clay little Oscar, let's go. Deidara smiled cruelly, chewing from the mouth in the palm of his hand, spitting out globs of white clay. Then he was thrown out by Deidara and turned into a flying white bird. Fluttering his wings, he chased after Jin. What is this? Jin watched these white birds approaching him, frowned, and felt that these things were not good things in his heart. Immediately, the wings flapped, and a wind wing swept over, and the flames cold. Just before his flames hit the white bird, he heard Deidara shout. Drink. 35 bang bang, bang bang. With the sound of Deidara's drink, several white birds exploded instantly. What? The sudden explosion caught Jin by surprise, and was blasted dozens of meters away, making the dragon's face a little ugly. It's not over yet, Clay Centipede, advertisement. Seeing that Jin was not injured at all by the explosion, Deidara was not surprised. One hand made a mark, the other hand chewed with the palm of the mouth, and spit out a huge white centipede flying attack. What the hell is this? Such a small bird can have the power of a shell explosion. Seeing the huge centipede flying towards it, Jin suddenly exploded away at a speed. Drink. Deidara shouted again, and the white centipede exploded, sending out a thick plume of smoke. A fiery red figure rushed out of the smoke and charged towards Deidara. Annoying Bomberman, die. The speed of Jin, who was transformed into a toothless pterosaur, suddenly accelerated, and rushed in front of Deidara as fast as the wind. The dragon's claws rose into a flaming flame, and kicked it out with great force. Bang bang. Deidara, who was standing on the giant bird, was immediately kicked to pieces by the flaming dragon's feet. Substitute. However, the next moment, Jin was stunned, because his flaming kick actually smashed the opponent to pieces. But it wasn't a real person, it was a clay dummy. Earth-style Tulongyin technique. Detonate the clay clone. Hey, I got it. 35 Deidara slowly emerged from the giant bird's body and quickly grabbed Jin's pterosaur leg. Exploding the clay's self-destruction, Deidara opened her mouth and vomited wildly, and a black Akatsuki avatar quickly swelled to entangle Jin. Then he bit and spat out the swollen avatar, his body fell into the sky, he smiled ruthlessly, and drank it with one hand. Drink. Asshole. In the blaze of fire, Jin's eyes were filled with bloodshot, angry emotions emerged, and angry shouts resounded through the sky. Advertisement bang bang. It's solved, it's really weak, 35. Stepping on the back of the giant bird of thought again, Deidara said somewhat boringly. Get off. It's just that he didn't expect that in the thick smoke of the explosion, a black figure with a burning flame rushed into the sky, and then a fierce flame kicked and fell straight down. It's all right. Deidara was surprised, and a large amount of clay appeared to protect her. It's just that the power of Jin's blow is extremely terrifying, and the strength of tens of thousands of pounds exploded, directly smashing the Deidara clay defense and kicking him down. You bastard, wait for me. Deidara, who was kicked off, vomited blood and fell towards the bottom of the waterfall. Huh? Was it actually defeated? With the withdrawal of Jin, the Christy Kingdom fleet was also brought to the inner sea by the upstream waterfall. A group of guys with a terrifying aura were all watching him. P.S. Thank you, 78,829 Chilu Juki, boss. Handsome contestants vote for the monthly ticket for the flower evaluation ticket. 100 reward is also love. Did you run away? Cut. Arrive. Forget it. Sooner or later, they will meet, and they will all be exterminated. Hey, let me kill him. The 5th Espada Inotra sneered and didn't have the intention to catch up. This is the first time he came out to do a mission. If it weren't for this mission, he might still be the same as the 7th and 9th Espada. Judging from the situation, he must be unable to stop these guys from landing. As for the downed Deidara, Tornado was not worried about the safety of the other party. Tornado's eyes wrinkled. At first, I thought that Deidara guy had the upper hand, and he should have won. Advertisement. Send someone to see what's going on in Wanokuni, and the entire fleet is docked. 39. Unexpectedly, he still lost in the end. Jin gave up with a heavy heart. Then look at the main ship. Something is wrong. You must inform Mr. Kaido first. And there are quite a few guys in white Espada uniforms alone. Waiting for you, just like a piece of trash. Stay guarded at Hueco Mundo. Inotra stood up, and the terrifying Ryotsu leaped out, staring at Jin hovering in the sky. If you continue to fight like this, maybe you will also be damaged here. He doesn't know other people, but with that unique appearance and white clothes, there are not many powerful people in the world who don't know. Officially enter Wanokuni's territory. Tornado clasped his hands in front of him and didn't care about it. A command, followed by all. Asterisk. With a wave of the tornado's slender jade hand, he issued an order. Besides, Kaido should have seen the screen in the monitoring room, and he must go back as soon as possible to discuss ways to deal with the army of Christy Kingdom. A guy who runs away without a fight is not qualified to be his enemy at all. That's it. Feeling a great sense of oppression of life and death crisis, Jin's heart jumped and he was startled. This scene scared Jin quickly and ran away. Jin, who escaped from the waterfall, quickly returned to the Ghost Island. Chapter 189 Angry Kaido. 5 Elders Conspiracy. Second update, please complete order. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. After returning to the Ghost Island, Jin immediately walked towards the base camp. As soon as I entered the hall, I saw a gloomy Kaido, bold and grandiose, sitting on the throne, not saying a word. Mr. Kaido, I'm back. Sorry for not stopping their landing. 35. Jin came to Kaido and apologized directly. After all, he failed to stop the Christy Kingdom's fleet, allowing the enemy to land on Wanokuni in large numbers. I don't blame you, it's that damn kingdom after all. Kaido gulped and took another gulp of wine and said in a muffled, resentful tone. After all, even in the past, he suffered a lot from the Espada of that kingdom. Jin's strength must be too poor, and Kaido won't blame him. Oh, it's a good thing that I didn't see that dead skeleton this time. 117. As long as there isn't that smelly skeleton old man, other Espada members, lousy is fearless. From the screen I just saw from the monitoring Tinluo control. Kaido didn't see the bad old man who had cost him a lot, so this battle may have to be fought. What's more, now he has an ally. Originally, he refused and was extremely opposed to the arrival of Charlotte Lingling. However, something may have to change now. Although he has other thoughts on his mind, he will have to wait until he sees Charlotte Lingling. At this time, Kaido didn't know that Charlotte Lingling had broken into the quarry prison of Tuden. So, Mr. Kaido, what should we do next? Jin nodded after hearing this. Jin still knew what happened to his boss. Advertisement. Since boss Kaido is confident that he can resist, or even defeat, the army of the Christy Kingdom, that would be great. Otherwise, the boss will be cowardly, let alone his subordinates. What to do? You go find the members of the Big Mom Pirates and Big Mom who were kicked off the waterfall by you. After you find it, wait for me to order something. Kaido said with a heavy expression. He was cut off from Doflamingo's artificial devil fruit deal for the past 2 years. You can only collect, buy and snatch zone devil fruit from all over the world, and there are very few people with the ability. His original plan was to build a zone-capable person army of 500 people within 2 years. Then 5 to 10 years later, a war broke out that swept the world, turning the world into a mess. I just didn't expect such a big change, and Doflamingo directly backstabbed him. As a result, there are only less than 300 zone-capable people under his command. Damn, it's Christy Kingdom. Thinking of this, Kaido couldn't hold back his anger. He dropped the wine gourd in his hand and smashed it to pieces on the ground. I see, Mr. Kaido. Going to the Big Mom Pirates again? Jin's face froze, somewhat unbelievable and unacceptable. But soon figured it out, also, in the case of this great enemy in front. As a former companion of Kaido decades ago, Big Mom may really be able to become their Beasts Pirates' staunch pirate alliance. Defend the armies of Christy's kingdom together. In the end, they will realize their promise, turn the whole world upside down, and destroy the Tianlong people. Advertisement. After being assigned by Kaido, Jin nodded, then turned around and left Onishima. Kaido was left alone on the throne. Oh, when necessary, maybe we can use the power of the world government. As if thinking of something, Kaido grinned suddenly. He would never forget that the world government also suffered a lot from Christy Kingdom's hands. I can't wait to eat Christy's skin and ribs. The current world government and Beasts Pirates, after losing the underworld king of the Dark Clown, Doflamingo, the goddamn middleman. Bearded 5 elders said angrily. There is also news that the Legion fleet of Christy Kingdom has also gone to Wanokuni. It has entered a sustainable and stable development, and a lot of gourmet food has been sold from that kingdom. Some of their plans that had been brewing also came to nothing. Unfortunately, the man is back. Among them are many kingdoms protected by Marine who have paid the heavenly gold. It's a pity that none of their spies have penetrated into the core and cannot steal various technologies. What surprised them even more was the so-called bronze and silver knights that Christy Kingdom had cultivated. I've sent the CPO out to negotiate deals on arms and seastone equipment. Speaking of which, the 5 elders' expressions all changed slightly. All in all, the Kingdom of King 5.3 that the world government wants to destroy the most is the Kingdom of Christy. The Kingdom of Christy has also stabilized and developed the continent created by that man's incomparably terrifying power. 5 elders, a white-haired goatee, raised his eyebrows and asked. P.S. Thank you, I am a ricebug, for the monthly pass. Thank you, 78,829,769 chi, boss. Advertisement. The 5 elders have long since received news that the Straw Hat crew have landed in Wanokuni. Coincidentally, Nico Robin can also take this opportunity to recapture him. In the highest meeting room in the ancient city of Pan. Today, on the Sea of New World, many countries have been attacked. After all, in the most recent world, Christy Kingdom has set off a terrifying kingdom conquest war. If they get this technology, I am afraid they can control a lifeline of the world. But there was nothing left to do, so I took the initiative to find them Wanokuni. The man who disappeared for nearly 2 years is back. The base area has been established. At the end of the last chapter, is there no one here to chat with the little author? And a multinational war has also started. If this continues, I am afraid that the war of hundreds of years ago will be the same. 95. The abundant grains and the techniques for cultivating and planting crops made them gluttonous. So, what about the owner of the devil fruit? Just based on these, we still can't handle the world government. For 2 years, they were secretly happy for a while when they learned of Davy's disappearance. On the other side, Holy Land Marijoy, world government. He holds a lot of arms and various manufactured items of seastone, he can't believe it. Their combat power performance, even they can't help but be amazed. What should I do now? The square-faced blonde 5 elders drank the lipstick tea and said in a flat tone. The most troublesome horror guy is gone. Chapter 190 Boss 5 Elders, Eisen. The first update, please complete the order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement the legendary one, even because it is too scary and special. The devil fruit, which was renamed by the world government to cover up its true abilities. Over the past 800 years, he has inherited the fruits of several capable people. Every time it was defeated by the world government, except for the first fruit owner, every subsequent successor. Neither succeeded in awakening its true power. This is also the root cause of being defeated by world government every time. But it is also the particularity of this devil fruit that has never fallen into the hands of the world government in the past 800 years. So how should we deal with the war? Do you have an opinion? Black Hat Cane 5 elders tapped the cane and said, HMPH, now that the Christy Kingdom has dispatched troops and has landed in Wanokuni. Then next, watch them lose all 3 and get better. Many officials of the Big Mom pirates and the 4 emperors Big Mom himself are also among Wanokuni, and the 3 sides are bound to have a war. What's more, there is the pirate who ate the fruit, organizing the 18th power of the former Wanokuni, and is preparing for the battle with Kaido. Tianue 5 elders snorted coldly. From the information they got, this Wanokuni war may surpass the Summit War 2 years ago. Into a bigger war of terror. And when the forces of several parties were in a state of severe disability after the war, it was their world government that sent troops. Time to take over the whole battle. At that time, the Big Mom pirates, the Beasts pirates and the Christy Kingdom Legion will all be eaten. The prestige of the world government will reach its peak. Not only can you destroy 4 Emperor's pirates in one fell swoop, but you can also destroy a wave of Christy Kingdom. It's a feat. The 5 elders present all understood this truth, and they were all thinking about the feasibility of this matter. For the time being, you can wait and see the situation, Goatee 5 elders said solemnly. If they enter the field at this time, the forces dispatched by the world government will probably be killed first by the joint forces of several parties. The war has not yet officially started, and it is not the best time for them to enter. Advertisement, order your men in naval headquarters to prepare the fleet army, enter the battle at any time, and participate in this war, said the bearded 5 elders. Well, seconded. Several 5 elders endorsed the proposal. The square-faced 5 elders pondered for a moment, then said, so, about Wanokuni, do I need to report to Lord Yim? 35? As soon as these words came out, the expressions of several 5 elders changed slightly. No, this is what Lord Yimu explained 800 years ago, and we have been doing it for hundreds of years. As long as we kill the successor of the devil fruit at the necessary moment and eliminate the harm, it will be fine. The Black Hat Crutches 5 elders vetoed the words of the square-faced 5 elders. The other 5 elders who heard the words also nodded. Indeed it is. For flowers. For hundreds of years, they have been doing the 5 elders to eliminate the enemies that endanger the world government. Unless it is a more important matter, it is easy to not go to see Lord Im. There is one more thing that the CPO people have to do. Trafalgar Law, the op fruit ability person, also needs to be arrested and brought back. He must not be allowed to give the power of immortality to others, otherwise this will be a major hidden danger for the world government. The bearded 5 elders suddenly remembered Trafalgar Law, Wanokuni who also landed with the Straw Hat crew. So it is also highlighted that op fruit, this generation has not been acquired by the world government, so the world government once purchased the sky-high price of 5 billion Bailey. It's just a pity that it was given by Trafalgar Law. Therefore, they can only arrest him now. If it can be used by them, it is the best ending, otherwise it is directly killed. They will then send the CP organization to search for the reappearing op fruit. Op fruit? The ability to bestow immortality on others? Really interesting ability. Just as the 5 elders were discussing, a gentle and somewhat domineering voice suddenly appeared. The next moment, 3 white figures appeared in the room of power. Blue, Aizen-sama, why are you suddenly here? Advertisement seeing the appearance of these 3 people, the 5 elders were all startled, but they all stood up immediately. Bowing respectfully towards Eisen. If you let others see this scene in front of you, I am afraid that your jaw will drop. Because the 5 elders, who represent the highest power in the world, would salute a man so respectfully. Except for them, no one would know about the man who took the lead in front of him. What terrifying power it possesses, and the 2 subordinates under him, their strength is also extremely terrifying. For the 5 elders who were completely defeated at the time, these 3 were gods, as terrifying as Lord I Am. He is a god who breaks through the ceiling of strength in this world. At the Void Throne 2 years ago, when they had an audience with Lord Yim, the 3 suddenly appeared, and then they attacked him, just to their disbelief. With the strength of the 5 of them, they were completely suppressed. Even if Lord Yimu appeared, it was easily deciphered by him. After that, the 2 sides suspended the war and talked about equality and peace. After that, it was the 5 elders who represented the highest power in the world, and there was another adult on top of them. There are 2 other beings that are equal to them. A trio named Aizen-sama, with Jin and Tusen Kanami. Is Aizen-sama also interested in Devil Fruit, which has the ability to cast immortality? If you need to obtain immortality surgery, we can capture the fruit-capable person for you to come back and perform immortality surgery for you. 99. P.S. EMMMMM. After waiting for a day, no one has joined, do you not understand? The author is very curious to say, this chapter contains pictures, click the illustration button in the lower right corner of the screen to view the pictures. Anyway, they have all obtained immortality surgery, using Trafalgar Law's life in exchange for the good things promised by this terrifying existence equal to Lord Yim. A look of greed flashed across the square-faced 5 elders' eyes. The rest of the 5 elders, watching his conversation with Aizen, also changed their faces slightly, and their eyes showed strange colors. Obviously, they are also a little bit looking forward to what Aizen said. What is it? Is it the so-called Kaido that they showed when they once suppressed them? Then may I ask, Lord Aizen is here this time, is there anything else that I need to do? 55. Seeing that the 2 had ended this topic, the Black Hat Crutch's 5 elders couldn't help but ask. He didn't think that the appearance of the 3 of Aizen was as simple as having tea with them. Advertisement, a mission. Aizen smiled and said, how much do you know about the Final Island's intelligence? That guy, but there are some interesting things left there. What? The face of the 5 elders changed suddenly. Why did Aizen suddenly ask about this? And would you say such a thing? Could it be that the 3 of them have already been to the island at the end of the Grand Line? The complexion of the 5 elders, all changed at this moment. New world on the other side, in a certain sea area. Captain, are you sure you want to go to Wanokuni? Redhead Shanks on the pirate ship. Usopp, the sniper in the pirates, asked the red-haired Shanks. They were going to have a banquet, but they heard the news that the captain, the red hair, was going to Wanokuni. Immediately there was a burst of doubt and confusion. Are you going to go to Kaido of the Beasts to fight? Hee. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. I've been looking at that big bug for a long time. The fat crew member who was eating his big meaty legs laughed. The other crew members also cheered excitedly. After all, if you really go to another 4 emperors, it will be too exciting. Since they became the 4 emperors pirates, it has been a long time since they had a big fight with other 4 emperors pirates. Did something happen, Shanks? Ben Beckman, co-captain of the Red Hair Pirates, doesn't think it's that simple. Just by looking at the red-haired Shanks at this moment, the serious and solemn expression on his face can tell that something is not right. This captain of his own is a guy who hides very deeply, even Beckman doesn't know much about him. To stop a terrible battle beyond Summit War. The red-haired Shanks turned around and looked at Ben Beckman and the many pirates behind him. Said with a very solemn expression, Chapter 192, The Fearful Kurozumi Orochi, please complete the order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement this time the war is no trivial matter, and its scale may directly surpass the Summit War. 4 emperors pirates in one country, the war with the Straw Hat Pirates, Wanokuni Old Party. Finally, there's the involvement of world government and naval headquarters. It directly pushed the whole situation of the war to the apex. That's what the redhead Shanks learned from the 5 elders. If he hadn't participated in this terrifying war this time, he was afraid that the Luffy he had bet on would die in this war. In such a terrifying super war, he had to intervene. Stop a war? A bigger war beyond Summit War 2 years ago? 35? Hey, redhead, you're not kidding, it's more terrifying than the Summit War 2 years ago. That's the Summit War. It's even more terrifying. How many people will die and how many high-end combat powers will be lost? The crew of Red Hair Pirates were all shocked to hear their red-haired boss say it was a war that surpassed Marineford 2 years ago. You must know that in the Marineford Summit War 2 years ago, tens of thousands of Marines and pirates died. The strongest man in the world, 4 Emperors Whitebeard Edward Newgate died in battle. Many captains of the Whitebeard Pirates died, and the legendary kingdom, the King of Christy Kingdom, even appeared on the battlefield. 120 personally destroyed the Blackbeard Pirates who took Whitebeard's shock ability. Now there is a war even more terrifying than that. No wonder they had to feel extremely shocked and unbelievable. Get ready, this is an unprecedented battle. The red-haired Shank's face was solemn and serious, and there was no joke at all. His crew members were also convinced and believed what their boss said. Advertisement, hey, isn't it a battle beyond Summit War? Lousy is already itching. 55. Don't worry, boss, we will definitely succeed in this war. Well said, we, Red Hair Pirates, are invincible. That's right, little ones, let's make a big fuss. Let's make our Red Hair Pirates world famous again after so many years. Ooh, 66. Point 39 The pirates were all provoked by the war that the red-haired Shanks said, and they were so excited that they were beaten with blood. Oh, let's do it, little ones. In the end, the red-haired Shanks was also infected by the high fighting spirit of this group of partners. There is also a blazing fire of desire to fight in my heart. Wanokuni, the capital of flowers. General Soganet. Nani? That legendary kingdom, the kingdom of Christy, landed in this general's Wanokuni? Mr. Kaido, do you want me to negotiate with the other party first? Yes, well, I see. Pat. Kurozumi, who was sitting in the hall of the Shogun's Soganet, hung up on the conch. The ugly face is a little ugly. The Big Mom pirates broke through the defenses of the outer sea and were kicked down the waterfall by Jin, one of the 3 disasters. Blocked their landing. Advertisement unexpectedly, there is another force that broke into the Wanokuni area, and it has been confirmed that it has landed in the Wanokuni Inland Sea by Wu Township. Damn it, bastard, you can't even stop Jin, who is a big kanban. It seems that the enemy is indeed quite powerful. Kurozumi Orochi began to think about what Kaido had just said to him. Kushiro, take someone to greet the distinguished guests of Christy Kingdom, and come to the general mansion of the flower capital to have a chat. After thinking about it, Kurozumi finally decided to follow Kaido's words. After all, no matter what, there is still 4 emperors behind him. What can the other party do to him? Even Kaido, who gave him this instruction, BIFD, and advice, was just using him to test the enemy's situation. Now use Kurozumi's life in advance to test the situation of Christy Kingdom. In order to express his sincerity, Kurozumi Orochi finally decided to go to meet the reception himself. Halibel, who had never seen such a grand event, nodded and held no objection. Saying that, Tornado didn't forget to look at Halibel beside him and asked him. The above is the current situation of Wanokuni, Lord Tornado. Wait, I'll go there myself. Then it's decided. Tornado showed a smile upon hearing Halibel's agreement. Oh, the Rite of Fire? It seems to be quite interesting. Halibel, should we wait for the end of the Rite of Fire to capture Wanokuni? Funny smile. A new month has begun. Handsome guys, can you vote for the little author with your monthly passes and flower evaluation votes? I beg. As Kurozumi Orochi's bodyguard, Kurozumi's eyes flashed a strange look, and then he nodded his command without being humble or arrogant. Isn't it a beautiful thing? After all, today's Wanokuni is a pretty bad situation. Advertisement. Kurozumi looked at the Kurozumi snake walking past him, red light flashed in the depths of his eyes, and he resisted the extremely strong killing intent in his heart. Suddenly, Kurozumi Orochi felt a panic in his heart and said. Kurozumi also wants to win over a temporary strong ally if he can. Whatever. What's more, this is his base camp. It's better for General Ben to go personally. According to Kaido, the guy who landed in Wanokuni this time is a big man in that kingdom. After all, Kaido's original plan was to kill him at the Rite of Fire. After all, we are completely confused about all the preparations for the fire rite. Then he took a group of subordinate warriors to the port town of Baiwu. Anyway, Wanokuni is already in the bag, and Halibel doesn't care. Thinking of this, Kurozumi Orochi couldn't help showing an ugly and inexplicable confident smile. When Wanokuni is messed up, it won't happen. A scout soldier got down on one knee and reported to the Tornado what had happened to Wanokuni so far. 66. Silently followed in the footsteps of Kurozumi Orochi. Yes, General. Peas. Thank you, 18,383. Keelong, Supreme Blade Emperor. Life is like a play, stars and purple smoke for your monthly tickets. This is to deal with the prophecy of the reappearance of the Red Sheath 9 heroes, and to ensure his safety and the stability of his position as a general. On the fleet of Christy Kingdom. Turning around, a sly smile appeared on his face, and he was about to leave here. It's just that he didn't know that the enemy who landed on Wanokuni this time was a terrifying existence he had never seen before. Chapter 193 The Big Snake That Eats Soil, stunned everyone's attention. Second update, please complete the order. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. After a few short conversations between the two, the matter was decided. He did not shy away from them at all, and let them know that it was Tanju himself who suddenly became interested in the fire rite and changed the battle. Seeing that the rest of the summoned characters and Doflamingo were quite helpless. Obviously they came to conquer Wanokuni. Why did it suddenly change? Forget it, sooner or later the beast's pirates and Wanokuni are going to be at war. And these two can't afford to provoke them, they don't dare to veto it anyway. Could it be that she is tired of living, a woman who dares to refute Lord Kingdom? Report, Tornado-sama, General Wanokuni Kurozumi Orochi asks to see you. At this time, a centurion walked over quickly and respectfully reported. Kurozumi Orochi? Tornado tilted his cute head with a question mark on his face. What is this guy doing for her? She doesn't know this guy. But since this guy is the general who controls Wanokuni, it's okay to meet him. After all, they still need this guy to do things. After the fire rite is over, kill the opponent directly and take control of Wanokuni. Let's go. Tornado waved his hand, the centurion immediately led the way, and a large group of people exuded an incomparably powerful aura. Slowly descended from the wide springboard on the warship. On the shore of the harbor, there are a group of warriors and a few zone-capable people, surrounded by a large and ugly middle-aged and elderly person in the Mediterranean Sea. Advertisement. This guy also brought a group of subordinates to greet the Kurozumi Orochi who entertained Christy Kingdom. And within a few meters of him was guarded by the spy who was undercover beside Kurozumi Orochi, one of the 9 red-sheathed knights, Kurozumi. Excellent. And when Kurozumi was waiting on the shore of the port, surrounded by a group of bodyguards, Kurozumi saw a few women headed by Tornado and Halibel. Instantly, his eyes lit up, but he immediately realized the terrifying power of these people in front of him, and immediately tightened his eyes again. However, his stunning and greedy look was captured by the tornado. Ugly bastard, what are you looking at? Can you watch this lady casually? Bow your head to me? Boom. The look in Kurozumi's big snake's eyes made Tornado feel a burst of disgust. Such a deformed and ugly guy dared to look at her with such eyes. Find a beating. With the sudden anger of the tornado, a powerful thought force suddenly exerted force, like a towering mountain collapsing down. Kurozumi Orochi only felt his head vibrate and buzz, and then a terrifying pressure descended, crushing him to the ground. The ugly face smashed directly into the soil, smashed the pavement on the ground, and screamed and wailed in an instant. No one would have imagined that this was a woman with a delicate and lovely face and a petite but extremely graceful figure in front of her. It was unexpectedly sudden, and it was so vicious, just before all of them could react. They beat their general Wanokuni Kurozumi to the ground, and smashed his head and face into the soil. Damn it! What are you doing? Do you know who this lord is in front of you? How dare you do this? Take them. The samurai of Wanokuni, no, were the loyal samurai raised by Kurozumi Orochi after a moment of shock and consternation. Advertisement immediately after returning to his senses, he was furious, and a samurai leader directly ordered. It is necessary to let the surrounding samurai and ability people attack Tornado and others. It's just that they obviously don't know what kind of monster-like existence these people are facing in front of them. Do you want to do it? Huh, it seems that the fire ride cannot be watched 1 or 2 times. Seeing this group of warriors and capable warriors, who were eager to attack, rushed over, and then was directly condensed into blood by one of her hands. Tornado couldn't help sneering. His body exuded a green brilliance, and his psychic power was activated. Wait. Stop all of you idiots. In addition, the new January is coming. Handsome guys, can the young authors ask for a monthly pass, flower evaluation ticket reward? I beg? After drinking to stop a group of subordinates, pung. Not to mention the confidence of Kurozumi Orochi, their jaws dropped in shock. This is the ability he has learned since he was a teenager, flattering and flattering others in exchange for his own safety and protection of life. These are the honored guests of this general, don't be rude. They all refuted Quangshilong and didn't listen to him at all. Asterisk. What? That's right, this stinky woman must be punished if she dares to do something to Lord Orochi. Just now, I was stunned by the shocking looks of several ladies, and I was indeed offended. Miss Tornado taught me a reasonable, very reasonable lesson. A magnanimous gesture immediately hung on Kurozumi's face, and the tone of his voice seemed a little flattering. He turned his head to look at Tornado and the others and said. But he didn't want to be killed by these terrifying guys in front of him, together with these stupid people. Is this still their brutal and domineering Kurozumi Orochi general? Advertisement Kurozumi Orochi, who heard Kurozumi's voice, felt the power that was crushing him disappear. 66.99.0 Under the gazes of his subordinates and a large number of curious onlookers around him, Kurozumi Orochi said these extremely unwilling words. This is Miss Tornado. Welcome to Wanokuni. He was secretly ruthless in his heart, and he must kill this woman who humiliated him. I'm afraid it's not that easy to want them to obey him. Lord Quangshilong, what are you kidding? He quickly lifted half of his head from the ground. Seeing the samurai and the able-bodied who were rushing to kill with anger, the calm Kuroshio suddenly yelled. This woman is a rude person who attacked the general, how can you let them go? Hearing the words, Kurozumi felt unhappy in his heart. These guys are all diehards cultivated by Kurozumi Orochi. P.S. Second update. The little author will adjust the status and resume the update. I'm sorry for the support of the handsome guys. Quangshilang's words and reprimands blocked them. Not only did they not calm them down, but they became even more angry. Damn stinky woman, you wait for General Ben. Kurozumi Orochi looked at his subordinates who were about to attack, and said angrily, you idiots, stop quickly. No way. Kurozumi walked up to Kurozumi with a gloomy face and asked in his ear. Sir General, are you alright? These people are Wanokuna's distinguished guests, don't be rude. There was anger and resentment in the eyes of the tornado and others, but he was deeply hidden. Chapter 194. The Terrified Nami. The third update, please complete the order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement Kurozumi Orochi's familiar appearance at this moment. Wasn't it the subordinates who, on ordinary days, were flattering to Kurozumi Orochi? Shocked. As the loyal subordinates of Kurozumi Orochi, it is the first time they have seen their boss show such a low attitude. But General, it was clearly they who did it just now and knocked you down. With all due respect, these people are provoking your majesty, Lord General, and your subordinates feel that you must punish them severely. Yeah, Lord General, we have all seen it, it's that stinky girl. 35. A group of samurai spoke in anger, and when the last samurai uttered the curse words again, Halibel's indifferent beautiful eyes suddenly turned into indifference, and a terrifying Ryotsu burst out instantly. It's just a matter of seconds, under the horrified and shocking gazes of everyone's 120. The samurai with a dirty mouth was crushed by Ryotsu in a scream, his mouth opened and his eyes widened. The soul was directly crushed. HMPH, did you let Halibel settle it ahead of time? What a lucky guy. Tornado tilted his head slightly and glanced at Oni-san Halibel, who was holding his arms around him. If it's slower, maybe this guy can still become a twist. Looking at the two women in front of him, Kurozumi really felt a lot of pressure for the brutal methods of the two. Especially this small, green-haired woman who looks like a girl. The words that came out of his mouth were simply terrifying. Twist people into twists? Advertisement, how brutal is this? Fortunately, Kaido told General Ben the news in advance. Kurozumi Orochi thought of the previous Kaido of the Beasts contacting the snails to inform him of the arrival of Christy's kingdom. I can't help but feel grateful to Kaido from the bottom of my heart. After all, though Wanokuni is a secluded existence. But Kurozumi Orochi, the General Wanokuni, is not a complete waste. He still knows a little bit about getting overseas news and intelligence. However, there is not much in-depth understanding. But he had heard of the power of Christy's kingdom. Coupled with Kaido of the Beast's admonitions and suggestions, he came to receive the reception in person. Otherwise, relying on these samurai subordinates who were completely unaware of the situation in the overseas world, I am afraid that this matter will cause a big trouble today. A bunch of idiots, don't quit. 39 Kurozumi, the big snake, showed a cruel expression, and repulsed the samurai and the able-bodied with a single word. Miss Tornado, and all the distinguished guests, please come with this general, come to my general's mansion, and I will definitely entertain all the distinguished guests with the highest standard. You will never be disappointed. After taking care of the ignorant subordinates who didn't have long eyes, Kurozumi, the snake, showed a slightly flattering attitude, and responded with a warm attitude to Tornado and the others. In this short period of time, the Kurozumi serpent secretly glanced around. Almost scared him to pee. I don't know when, the 10 warships docked on the shore of the entire harbor have been lined up neatly from the warships, and batches of soldiers have come down. At a glance, there are more than 10,000, advertisement. There are also most of the soldiers stationed on the warship, each showing the momentum of a strong army. This scene brought an extremely strong visual impact to Kurozumi Orochi. Let's wait and see, Tornado said with a flat expression, clasping his hands. Then, please follow me. Kurozumi immediately wiped the sweat from his forehead, and he could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. In the face of this group of people who exude a strong aura all the time, Kurozumi Orochi is really worried. For fear that they will bring that terrifying force to fight against his Wanokuni together. Tornado, Halibel, and Stark captured the breath of his disappearance at the same time. Kun does not see the world's largest power, and the world government that controls the world can only choose to establish a trading relationship with them Wanokuni? The fifth Espada Enotra saw that the fuse of the battle was eliminated, and she couldn't help but feel a little upset. In this way, a group of people came to the general's mansion in the center of the flower capital under the guidance of the Kurozumi snake. Hearing the tone of the two of them, Xiao Ren didn't know how terrifying those were. But now that she saw Nami Robin's appearance, she probably knew it in her heart, the guy who just passed by to the flower capital. The next moment, his figure suddenly disappeared in place. When Nami and others who were hiding in the dark saw Tornado, Stark and Lillinette, 3 familiar people who showed their terrifying power at the Pirate Expo. Cut. It's so boring. They all seemed extremely uneasy in their hearts, and they couldn't understand why these people appeared in Wanokuni at this time. Definitely not a simple character. Well, it's really troublesome. Robin's fair and delicate complexion also became solemn. Along the way, it was a great shock to the citizens of Wanokuni. They didn't know who they were able to make the General Wanokuni Kurozumi meet in person. It is absolutely possible to make good friends with it and establish a long-term trading relationship. Advertisement Little Shinobi, one of the 9 heroes of the Red Sheath hiding with several people, May 5.3 do not know the terrifying power of Tornado and others. However, Kurozumi Orochi knew very well in his heart. Seeing that the Tornado Halibel and Stark didn't notice him, Enotra suddenly laughed. P.S. Thank you, 78,829 Chilu Juchi. If he does not obey the assignment, he will be brought directly in front of His Excellency the King at that time and will be punished by His Excellency the King. But behind him is the 4 Emperors Kaido of the Beasts Pirates. Big problem. Shinobu-chan, our next move is in big trouble. Besides, Nami wrapped Xiao Ren with a look of hopelessness, blinked his eyes, and said tiredly. Welcome to discuss the plot, and the plot of which world to go to. However, what he didn't notice was that at the moment when he dodged away. Nami-san, Robin-san, how can you see those guys with such a terrified expression? The Kurozumi serpent shouldn't be so scary, right? Seeing the horrified expressions on the faces of these two people, I couldn't help asking curiously. Just too lazy to pay attention to him. The big men of Christy's kingdom came to Wanokuni with such a terrifying army, and the purpose was already obvious. Some pirates also noticed this. What is the benefit of rashly initiating a national war? Kurozumi Orochi believes in their strength and production materials. What kind of big man is he that needs the presence of General Kurozumi Orochi? Chapter 195 Chingchong Soup House. The Domineering of the Tornado. The first update, please order all. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement seeing the familiar 3 people with a group of subordinates, they were welcomed into the Flower City by Kurozumi Orochi. The 3 of them couldn't help feeling a lot of pressure. Especially Robin and Nami, who had seen the terrifying power of Tornado at the beginning. At this time, it was already in my mind. For example, the appearance of those guys, shouldn't it be to capture and destroy the pirates who once escaped at the Pirate Expo? Robin, what to do now? We're not the targets of those people, are we? 9. Nami looked worriedly at the intellectual Oni-san Robin beside him. As the think tank of the Straw Hat Pirates, at such a time, Nami could only ask him. Let's go back first and report the situation to Sanji and the others, and then discuss it later. Robin said without hesitation. These words were immediately unanimously approved by Nami and Shinobu. The three of them had already made a decision, and they stopped talking, and immediately returned to their hiding place. When the other members of the Straw Hat Pirates and Trafalgar Law heard the news, they also felt a burst of panic. The most terrifying kingdom in the world today has sent an army of tens of thousands of people and a group of masters to Wanokuni. Lawton felt a headache. How could the people of Christy Kingdom appear in Wanokuni at such a critical moment? And now he has been invited by Kurozumi Orochi to enter the general's mansion. Judging from the current situation of the two sides, it can be said that they are a pair of allies, right? This will have a very bad change for their next plan. Helpless, several people could only contact other people and began to discuss. The capital of flowers, the soup house. Ah, it's so tiring. Advertisement. While collecting intelligence to inform the samurai, I have to avoid Wanokuni's pursuit. So, at this time, we need to take a beautiful bath to relieve fatigue. Nami, Robin and Shinobu set off again, but this time they came to relieve their fatigue and take a bath. No, several people chatted with each other while changing clothes and wrapping in bath towels. The soup bath here is also excellent. Namiko, Robin, you will definitely fall in love with the soup bath. Xiao Ren, who had already changed his towel, said with a smile. 35 Nami Robin nodded, and there was definitely a little anticipation in their eyes. However, just when they were about to enter the bath, there was a sudden noise from outside the door of the soup house. Huh? Did something happen at the door? Nami asked curiously. Could it be that the enemy has come over? Robin's eyes narrowed, feeling that the enemy should have come looking for him. Let's hide and take a look at the situation. If the situation is not right, let's run away immediately, Xiao Ren said. Yeah, Nami nodded, for the best. Otherwise, they have come here for nothing today, and they have to run away before they have experienced the soup bath. The door of the soup house. I saw a group of soldiers in silver armor with a golden dragon on a red background engraved in front of the armor. A group of people came to the door of the soup house with fierce and powerful power. On their side, there were also several warriors from the general's mansion. Halibel is here. Let's go in and experience the soup bath. You shouldn't have experienced it, right? Tornado looked at Halibel beside him and said with a smile. Not really. Halibel responded with a flat expression. Advertisement, hey, then you should have a good experience this time. Tornado smiled. As another person in the modern neon-style urban world, Tornado has naturally experienced a soup bath. It should only be slightly different from this world. So she brought Halibel and a few people along by the way. Feel how different otherworld's baths are. That's what the ugly General Wanokuni told her. Hey, let me ask you, does this place also share a bath? 35. After the group entered the soup house, seeing the scene inside, Tornado's beautiful eyes wrinkled, and then suddenly remembered something. He looked at the warriors of the general's palace who were a few meters away and asked questions. But this is. After being questioned by Tornado, the warrior in the general's mansion was obviously stunned for a moment, and then replied respectfully. 6,699. Don't push me, I'll go by myself, wife and daughter, I'll go home and wait for you first. 66.99. Although he put out a few harsh words, he finally left in a cowardly manner. Malamax, no man is allowed into the soup room until we come out. What to do is up to you, understand? 35. P.S. Thank you, Lan Jingxiao Shan. I look happy, for the monthly pass sent by the two big ones. Thank you Shuebi for the flower evaluation vote. Seeing the embarrassed look of the samurai, Tornado's eyes gradually turned cold. Immediately, he started to drive away with a ferocious look on his face. Seeing that all the male guests in the soup house had been driven out, the children of Tornado showed a faint smile. Facing the expulsion of the warriors from the general's mansion, all the men had anger on their faces. Advertisement Tornado frowned and snorted coldly. Hurry up, vaguely, there's a force that erodes the soul emerges. What are you kidding? Okay, you all go out too. Tornado and the others couldn't stand such a thing, so they directly ordered them to dismiss all men. Yes, Lord Tornado, mixed bathing. Do I need Miss Ben to repeat it again? 35. Want them to bathe with a bunch of stinky men, or be washed in a bath towel? HMPH, then clear the field. After 3 minutes, no man is allowed to exist here. How can I do it? I have to report it to the general. The tornado that got this answer from the samurai almost blew it away without using psychic power. No need for the samurai leader to say more, several samurai subordinates already know how to do it. The leading warrior couldn't help but shuddered, and said in panic, no problem, Lord Tornado, please wait a moment. After a while, in the entire soup house, none of the men who were bathing in the soup existed. The 3 subordinate officers and sisters behind her also stared at them with indifferent eyes. The soup house here is indeed like this. Hey, you guys, all the men in the soup room, get the F*K out of lousy right now. The tornado said to the captain of the escort beside him, Marimax. Hearing this, the warrior was stunned for a moment, a little embarrassed. Damn it, you warriors, Chapter 196. The meeting between Nami Robin and the tornado, second update, please complete the order. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. Hearing the task that the tornado gave him, the captain of the escort, Mary Max, immediately saluted and obeyed. Malamax is a 1,000 commander who has exceeded 3,000 in Dao strength. He was also the first centurion to break through the 3,000 Dao force value, and he was given a devil fruit by Virgil because of his military exploits. In addition to the comprehensive strength, I also ate a devil fruit. If all its strength explodes, the Taoist value can directly break through 6,000. Is a good player in the army, but also a silver knight. It is a knight who has learned the cultivation method of knights from other worlds and learned the fighting skills in it. Compared with the elite vice admiral of naval headquarters, the strength is not much, and it is extremely powerful. There is an escort team led by him. The strength is close to the strength of 3,000 strong soldiers. The task of guarding the gate of the soup house was handed over to them, and Tornado was also very relieved. If someone breaks through, the tornado can instantly twist it into a human twist. Afterwards, Malamaze took his subordinates and walked out of the soup house with the general's warriors. With a serious face, he guarded the gate, and everyone who approached the gate of the soup house was frightened by it. Immediately left again. What a domineering woman. Inside the soup house, Nami, Robin and the three of them, who had secretly glanced at what was happening in front of them, were hiding in surprise. He was shocked by the domineering and arrogant attitude of the dragon roll. However, when he thought of the incident where the other party casually attracted a group of meteorites from outer space and smashed his face, the devil's successor, Deadless Bullet, was directly smashed to death and annihilated. They didn't think there was anything wrong with the other's attitude. After all, in this world, everything depends on strength. Advertisement. What, Robin, are you running now? Nami asked Robin in a low voice. Well, now those men have been driven out, it's not the right time for us to leave now. Why don't you go back and take a bath? The other party shouldn't notice us. Robin, with black hair, said calmly. The temperament of Yamato Nadeshiko with black hair was so beautiful that Xiao Ren couldn't help but sigh. If Wanokuni selects the beauty list, Robin is definitely the best beauty that can be ranked in the top 3. Yeah. What Robin said is very reasonable. In order not to attract attention, let's go back and take a bath. After all, we can't come here for nothing. The bath is so big, we won't be noticed by each other all of a sudden. Xiao Ren smiled and agreed with Robin's proposal. That's it, that's fine. Nami nodded when he heard the words, and then smiled expectantly. Then the three turned their heads and went into the soup bath. However, what they did not expect was when they went to the pool. The hot water in the pool has been changed again. Has all the water in the pool been changed again? That's great. 99. Looking at the hot tub that had just changed the bath water, Nami smiled instantly, hummed, and immediately entered the pool. Ah, I feel like the whole person is alive again. It's so comfortable, this soup bath, the exhaustion all over my body is instantly swept away. Nami's whole body was directly immersed in the pool water, and his head slowly emerged after a minute, with a look of enjoyment on his delicate and pretty face. Well, indeed, originally, if Robin was still hesitating, if he was so relaxed, would there be any enemies who would come after him? Advertisement, but the scene just now made her feel a little relieved. If there are those people, the strong thugs of the Wanokuni faction will obviously not be easily let in. In this way, Robin also took a bath together, and soon showed a charming smile. Let me just say it, I will never let you down. Xiao Ren said proudly. Obviously, Wanokuna's entertainment project, the fact that she was able to conquer these two friends, made her feel full of satisfaction as a Wanokuni citizen. Nami Robin all smiles in response. Not long after they entered the pool, the figures of Tornado and the others wrapped in bath towels appeared before their eyes. Huh? Someone has already entered first. Seeing that there were already several women in the pool soaking, the Tornado jumped. It's all your fault. Changing clothes so slowly, hum. The three people mentioned by the Tornado are naturally the three subordinate officers and sisters of Halibel. Sorry, Lord Tornado. The three sisters all said helplessly and apologetically. That's it. 39 Halibel glanced at the situation in the bath. Then he opened his mouth and looked at the pond where Nami and the three of them were. 66, Seeing the figure of their children walking over, the three of Nami were instantly stunned. Why did such a big bathing place choose them? Looking at the faces that were getting closer and clearer in the white mist of steam, the spirits of the three men instantly became tense. Nami was even more frightened and his body trembled slightly, for fear that he and others would be recognized by the other party at a glance. Advertisement. What a comfortable bath. After the three girls, Apache, Sunsun, and Mira Ross entered the pool, they shouted out with joyful expressions a few seconds later. 6,699 Halibel didn't speak, but her beautiful face also showed a satisfied expression. Ah, it's almost the same as the previous world. Finally, the Tornado also entered the pool. It's just not as novel as Sun and the others. After all, in the original world, it is not that they have not been soaked. Huh? These two young ladies look a little familiar. It looks a bit like a member of a certain pirate group. Sudden. Just when Nami Robin and the two were thankful that Tornado didn't recognize them the moment they met. Tornado's sudden words shocked the two of them. This lord, you are joking, as ordinary people like us, there are many on the street, it is normal for you to feel familiar, 99. Nami's heart was raised in his throat, and cold sweat appeared on his forehead. He raised his hands and waved in front of the majestic body, and quickly explained. Oh, really? Hearing this, Tornado's beautiful eyes showed a playful expression of interest, looking at Nami who was explaining in a panic. *** Benevolence Chapter 197. The Shy Nami Robin. The first one, please complete the order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement Gollum. Nami swallowed his throat, suddenly feeling a little bad. Looking at the situation in front of him, this petite and beautiful girl obviously recognized them. How can I make excuses now? Nami couldn't help but cast his eyes for help to Robin, who had a dignified face. In the face of the extremely strong sense of oppression of the tornado, even Robin felt a suffocation that was difficult to speak. Just when the three girls didn't know how to answer the question about dealing with the tornado. However, the dragon roll suddenly waved his hand and said, forget it, I don't care about you, I didn't make a special trip to find you today, but to enjoy the soup bath. 99. After all, Tornado leaned against the edge of the pool comfortably, dropped the towel into one foot, and placed it on his head. Then he closed his eyes and stopped talking to Nami, Robin and Shinobu. Halibel never said a word from beginning to end, and she didn't care about such a small role. It's just that the three subordinate officers and sisters paid a little attention when they were talking. After all, the three of them didn't know much, who. Seeing this, the three of Nami 120 all escaped the disaster, and they all exhaled in relief. This sudden change almost didn't frighten them to death. Thought it was over this time. Fortunately, the other party is not interested in taking care of them, otherwise it would be really troublesome today. Advertisement. For flowers. In this way, several people quieted down and continued to take a bath, but it was a lot quieter than before. Some were reluctant to speak. Looking at the five women of the tornado Halibel, Nami's eyes rolled around, revealing a sly color. Hey, your name is Tornado, are you from Christy Kingdom? Because Tornado's attitude is not too bad and difficult to get along with, so after Nami gave himself some courage, he asked tentatively. Huh? Why, do you want to take refuge in our kingdom? Longwan said lazily with half-opened eyes. Your country must not look down on a small character like me, right? I just wanted to ask, is Miss Tornado, BIFD, also a member of the Espada Corps? Nami sneered and asked curiously. She didn't dare to expressly refuse to join Christy's kingdom. If you dare to reject it directly, it will definitely offend people. I can only belittle myself politely and then politely refuse. HMPH, I'm a member of the Espada Corps. 35 Nami's witty words made the Tornado girls feel good. After Tornado snorted, he glanced at Halibel and continued. They are the members of the Espada, the blonde Halibel is the third Espada, and the other idiot is her subordinate. Amazing. Is this Miss Halibel the third Espada? Tornado explained a little, which immediately caught Nami Robin's attention. The hearts of the two women were filled with extreme shock like a turbulent sea, and there was disbelief on their beautiful faces. It was down for a while. Advertisement. As the world knows today, the Espada Legion of Christy's Kingdom is a terrifying legion directly under King Davy. Its 10 Espada members, the lowest level of strength are all admiral level combat power. The devil who once shocked the world 2 years ago, Ulquiorra Cypher, fights both admiral. Defeat it completely, and the sturdy record of 1 death and 1 heavy loss will shock the whole world. This is only the 4th Espada, and now in front of them, this woman with an extremely beautiful and graceful figure. Tornado's beautiful eyes were astonished, but he didn't expect this black-haired Oni-san intellectual woman to be so unpretentious. After that, these are all things that are at your fingertips. Moreover, he also has a unique charm and mysterious temperament that attracts them very much, which deeply attracts others and makes people unable to take their eyes off him. However, they were all busy escaping for their lives at the time. What's the matter? 99. Can a woman really have such terrifying and powerful strength like her? Robin is actually still a little excited. Suddenly seeing that there are so many powerful women in Christy's kingdom, I can't help but yearn for it. Miss Tornado, are you kidding me? Nami, who was once invaded by the evil dragon forces, also desperately wanted to become stronger in his heart. If there is a chance, I will go to Christy Kingdom, and then I will ask Miss Tornado to recommend it. 35. Just when I was about to say something, there was a sudden noise and a violent roar at the gate of the soup house. No, Big Mom is also very powerful, and so is this green-haired lowly-looking woman. This is too far-fetched, isn't it? Advertisement. In an instant, the faces of Tornado and Halibel turned cold. Rao is a woman like Nami Robin. After meeting Davy, she actually had a little heartbeat in her heart. Said, the Tornado did not drop Robin, who had black hair and a dignified appearance. Oh, if you are interested and want to become stronger, with your beauty, you are enough to become the woman of the king. She also bluntly agreed, which really surprised her. I want to visit Christy's kingdom. Nami blushed pretty and waved her hand. The king of Christy's kingdom? Unlike Nami's panicked gesture, Robin responded with a mature smile. Boom. Tornado showed a playful smile, stared at Nami, looked up and down, and smirked. The same goes for this black-haired lady, 35, as for being King Davy's woman. Amazing, Christy Kingdom. Nami Robin and the two have also met once on Sabaody Archipelago. His appearance is indeed the first person they have ever seen in their lives, and he is the most handsome man with the highest appearance. Okay, when the time comes, Chapter 198 Battle. Knight vs Hawkins Drake. Second update, please complete order. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement. The noise at the gate of the soup house was loud, and the faces of the tornado children who were taking a bath instantly turned cold. They haven't been soaking for a long time, and they have come here to make trouble and want to force it? Tornado was about to get up, but then he immediately thought that he had asked Merrimax to bring the guards to guard at the door in advance. It continued to soak, and with those guys around, it shouldn't be a problem. Robin Shinobu, could it be Wanokuni's pursuit team? Nami leaned close to Robin's body and asked softly in her ear. After all, they have been spreading the news recently, recruiting the army of Kurozumi Orochi. Now the samurai of Wanokuni, the pirates of the Beast's pirates, are catching those who spread rumors. And the people who have the moon pattern tattooed on their bodies, they will be arrested directly. Don't panic, just relax, our people are guarding the door. Seeing Nami's panicked appearance, Dragon Roll raised his beautiful eyes calmly and said lightly. Yeah, then please Tornado Oni-san. From the brief conversation just now, Nami and several others also knew the age of the tornado that did not match the appearance. Hearing the indifferent words and gestures of Tornado, Nami thought to himself, they would almost become sisters by now. Nami spoke directly and naughty, calling the tornado her sister. This is also a small way for Nami to pull himself and others into a friendly relationship with those monster powerhouses like Tornado. If there is still trouble in the future, you can still drag this relationship with a cheeky face and ask the other party for help. Humph. For Nami, the playful beauty, who suddenly called her sister, the corner of Tornado's mouth twitched slightly. Did not reject it, and at the gate of the soup house outside the door. Advertisement, get out of the way, we're going to go in there and hunt for people with anti-crescent tattoos on their bare feet. Don't get in the way of the door. Hawkins had a cold face, with Drake standing behind him. The two brought a group of their own crew and pirates from the Beast's pirates, as well as samurai from the general's house. A large group of people surrounded the gate of the soup house. Lord Hawkins, these people are the guards of the general's distinguished guests, and several adults are bathing in it. Please don't trouble me, Lord Hawkins. Seeing that Hawkins brought his momentum to this place, and he was about to start a conflict with the guards of Tornado and others. The samurai leader who was sent by Kurozumi to follow the tornado suddenly changed his face, and immediately stepped forward and said with a cold face. Although the team Hawkins has a respectful title, this samurai is not afraid of Hawkins at all. After all, he is the direct subordinate of General Kurozumi Orochi, and he is deeply trusted. If it is placed in the outside world, his strength level is also a good swordsman. With the addition of the two, the warrior leader is not afraid of Hawkins anymore. Although it is a distinguished guest of the general, this is also the search order issued by the general himself, and the general can explain it later. Step aside. After speaking, Hawkins pushed it away, and he was about to break into it with a group of people. The warrior leader turned pale with anger at what Hawkins said. Good guy, aren't they the ones who are miserable then? Those big men inside, but even General Orochi was knocked out of a front tooth, can only laugh at the Lord. Hawkins, just as he drew out the sword, Malamus, who was guarding the door, shouted angrily, get out. Go away, or die. 35 The sound was deafening, and it would shock Hawkins and others for a while. Advertisement. A word shook the footsteps of Hawkins and Drake. Malamus and his 12 men drew their swords, exuding a strong suffocation and glaring at the Hawkins crowd. Give it to me. 35 Hawkins' face sank, and he directly issued an attack order. Since you dare to stop their footsteps, let's finish the fight first. As for the rest, there is a Kaido of the beasts for them after the fact. A mere Kurozumi serpent, how can it resist them? Sign. Die. Hawkins' crew sneered and slashed at a blonde woman in the knight's escort. He thought to attack the weakest woman first, seriously injure her, and then play with her. After all, the figure in the armor is still so graceful and proud. In the shape of Davy, silver flower falling blade. Sword she lashes out, sweeping away, but fortunately there are many of them, there are more than 100 people. A head was taken directly, simply Hawkins ignored it, and looked at Malamax, who exuded an astonishing suffocating aura. Before that, he and his mother had a good practice guide with Davy, the master, after the strength test. Peefed. Straw punch sword. Hawkins was cut in half because he was too close to Malamax. Immediately afterwards, she saw the knight's long sword in her hand swinging, fluttering petals, and then suddenly turning into a sword light. In the 2 years that Davy disappeared, he learned knighthood and became a powerful silver knight. Advertisement. Hawkins attacked first, stabbed forward with his saber, and the blade turned into a sharp wandering straw sword. Peas. Thank you, Yang Dawson and Pluton Hades, for the monthly tickets, and thanks to Shuebi who voted for a lot of flowers. That fierce sword light was killing the two of them. For flowers. Hawkins was a little surprised by Lilith's combat performance, and what surprised him even more was that the combat effectiveness of these knights was very strong. The long sword in his hand slashed, directly disintegrating all the attacks of the two. Dross. What he didn't expect was that the blonde woman in silver armor in front of him snorted softly. Swish. Suddenly stabbed towards Malamus. Usually in the palace, as a maid and slave, he chooses to serve Davy. Marista Lilitha. Facing the simultaneous attack of the two, Malamax snorted coldly and shouted loudly. Humph. Justice is sanctioned. What? Start again and fight against other pirate samurai. After begging for a long time, the mother and daughter joined hands and tried their best, only then were they agreed to be released, along with the tornado and his party. This blonde girl is exactly the two queens and princesses who were once destroyed by Davy, among them the princess of Christy Kingdom. A sword owl headed the disgusting pirate with dirty eyes, and Lilith sneered. As for her mother and another pair of queen mother and daughter, they also practiced with Davy early at the same time to enhance their strength. Point 0 at the same time, Drake also launched an attack and threw the double axe in his hand. Chapter 199. Knight Skill vs Fruit Ability. First update, please complete order. Previous chapter. Next chapter advertisement, Hawkins. Seeing that Hawkins was cut in half with a sword in front of him, Drake suddenly exclaimed. Avoiding the sweeping sword energy, Drake looked at Hawkins in disbelief. What's it called? It's just damage transfer. However, Hawkins, who was cut in half, still looked indifferent, gave a light drink, and gave Drake an angry look. Puff. That is, when Hawkins' voice fell, a warrior beside them suddenly screamed. The body was directly broken into two sections, thus becoming Hawkins' scarecrow scapegoat. And a little scarecrow also fell out of Hawkins' body and fell to the ground in two sections. Oh, almost forgot about your abilities. Hearing Hawkins say this, and the tragic samurai who suffered Hawkins' cut in half. Drake remembered this, and patted his head embarrassedly. The original 18 is like this, it is indeed a cruel fruit ability. Hearing this, Malamax, who had watched the whole process, also nodded, feeling a chill at Hawkins' ability. This ability to forcibly transfer damage to others is simply not too disgusting. Anyone can use him as a substitute for a scarecrow, a person with the ability to transfer damage to his teammates and save his own life. It really makes Malamus feel a little scornful, cruel. It's just a normal means of survival, make way, 99. Hawkins disapproved, the long sword in his hand turned into a straw again, and with a flick of his arm, the straw burst into the air and killed Merrimax. Drake also pulled out the western sword hanging from his waist, stepped on it, and a strong wind blew on the spot, and then the whole person disappeared. Clang. Advertisement. When Drake reappeared, he had dodged to the side of Merrimax and slashed out with a sword. At the front, Hawkins' straw-rushing sword also swooped in. Clang clang. However, in the face of the two men's joined attack, Malamus did not panic at all, dodged the straw sword, and came to the air behind Drake. The shield in his hand smashed down, peeved. Drake looked at Malamax's disappearing figure, sensed the threat behind him, turned around quickly, and raised his sword to resist. But he was still hit by the shield, and the terrifying power erupted, directly knocking out all his bitterness. The body turned into a heavy iron lead, and fell heavily on the ground, making a loud noise, causing a dense fog. What? So strong? Hawkins squinted. This seems to be a gatekeeper knight, but is actually a gatekeeper. Unexpectedly, the strength of the other party is so strong, and they can deal with the joint attack of the two of them calmly. Is this really a little guy? Hawkins was puzzled. The Holy Inquisition of the Knights. Hawkins was surprised, but Mary Max didn't. He exploded again and came to Hawkins. So fast, 39. Hawkins was startled. The straw sword quickly expanded and transformed into a large amount of tough and soft straw, which resisted in front of him. Puff. Taj. It's just that the golden sword chi lashed straight to cut off his straw shield and cut him into two pieces. Puff. Advertisement. A small scarecrow fell out of him. Beside him, a samurai fell to the ground and died. The ability to trouble. Seeing no surprise, Merrimax continued to leap up and launched a suppressing attack on Hawkins. Roar. It was at this moment that a dragon roar shocked the audience, and a turquoise dinosaur shredded the thick smoke and appeared in everyone's eyes. X. Drake. Dragon fruit, ancient Allosaurus form. Yes, it's Drake-sama, one of the Flying Six. He's using the fruit ability. Yoshi. Lord Fei Liubao is serious, these knights are sure to die. Ha ha ha, kill them all, Lord Drake. Seeing the appearance of this huge turquoise dinosaur, the samurai and pirates present were all excited. They all danced and danced with excitement, screaming and wailing. To shut up. Peeved. A sword slashed the pirate in front of her, and a cold light flashed in Lilith's eyes. Although she also really wanted to rush over to fight against the opponent, but how strong she is now, let's get rid of these annoying pirate warriors first. Roar. Raptor's headbutt. 9. Drake, who turned into an Allosaurus, roared and roared, stepping on heavy footsteps, driving the dinosaur body that caused the earth to shake and rushing towards Merrimax. Are you serious? Seeing this, Hawkins quickly pushed back Malamax's attack, and then he also dodged and disappeared in place. Advertisement. Avoid yourself being affected by Drake too. Bang. Drake, who was attacking extremely fast, directly knocked Malamus, who had just been pushed back by Hawkins, into the air. Drake's pupils flickered with red light, and after a headbutt knocked Malamax away, he didn't hold back his attack. The huge body twists and sweeps, and the 120 thick dragon tail sweeps. Hoo-hoo. The mighty dragon tail swept the terrifying force, the wind howled, swept through the air, and hit Merrimax again. Bang bang. Malamax, whose body was hit by a headbutt, hadn't adjusted his body yet, and another dragon tail swept away, so he could only grit his teeth and raise his shield to resist. Unsurprisingly, Malamez was knocked flying again, and after smashing through 2 rooms, he forcibly stopped his body from flying upside down. Team leader. Captain. 35. The night guards who were fighting exclaimed, but it was useless to think that Merrimax still had a whole card. Soon he calmed down again. Lilitha and the other 3 knights continued to guard the gate of the soup house. Just don't let anyone get into it. The pirates and samurai also cheered excitedly when they saw that the leader of the powerful knight captain was hit and hit hard. Cough. Coughing out a mouthful of blood, Malamax's face turned gloomy. It's really 2 bastards. If Princess Tornado and Princess Halibel are seen in such an embarrassed manner, it would be a shame for me to do things poorly. Chapter 200 Griffin vs. Demon Subduing, second update, please complete the order. Previous chapter next chapter advertisement in dilapidated houses. Malamus muttered to himself with a gloomy face. If a group of pirates broke into the soup house where the 2 princesses and other daughters of His Majesty were bathing. Although the 2 princesses will be able to instantly kill all the intruding enemies. But when he really got to that point, even if he died, he had to be nailed to the pillar of shame and cast aside by all the people of the kingdom. Roar of the fire dragon, and at this moment, a familiar voice sounded. Immediately afterwards, there was a piercing scream. Malamus stood up suddenly and smiled. Is it actually Lord Fire Dragon? Then I can't keep it any longer? Ah! The voice fell, and in the dilapidated house, Merrimax roared in a low voice, and the shattered armor and clothes were torn apart inch by inch. Cry one by one. A huge monster slowly appeared in the dark shadow. With a cry, in the darkness, a pair of broad wings spread out, and then they suddenly rose into the sky. Bang bang. The huge monster spread its wings and flew high, pierced the roof directly, and flew into the sky. What? Is that guy all right? Allosaurus Drake was surprised. The guy was hit by his headbutt, and he was kicked out by his one tail. Instead, the usual vice admiral had to lie down after eating both of them. Is this guy all right? Hawkins was also slightly shocked, and he recognized Drake's strength. A mere gatekeeper, his strength is so powerful. Advertisement. Only, when Drake and Hawkins saw the sound of the roof crashing and the smoke clearing. But it was no longer surprising, because what appeared in front of them was a 2-winged eagle-headed 2-winged monster. As we all know, zone abilities possess extremely terrifying resilience, stamina, and vitality. In this way, the physique that can resist and fight is not so surprising. Is that so, zone-capable person? A form that has never been seen before. Hawkins looked at the sky, and the flapping Malamez muttered to himself. Drake's eyes narrowed slightly, feeling an inexplicable pressure. Zone, who I have never seen before, still has an inexplicable sense of oppression on the fruit stage. Why? Illusory beast type, the iron fist of the fire dragon. Puff. Just when he turned his eyes to Merrimax's griffin form. Natsu was an iron fist that was burning with flames, and slammed into his face unceremoniously. Bastard, you don't talk about martial arts and do sneak attacks. Didn't you see that I was watching the shocking appearance of that knight? Drake, who was punched, fell to the ground and collapsed a room. Then he stood up and yelled angrily. Che, what is there to see? Isn't it a person with the ability of the Phantom Beast type? 5. I've seen it many times. The initiator Natsu snorted, stretched out his hand and buttoned his nostrils and said speechlessly. It's you, are you actually a dragon? It's very interesting, I'm starting to burn. After speaking, Natsu's face suddenly became serious and his horns twitched. Seeing Drake's expression of extreme interest, flames were burning all over his body. 66.99 Advertisement roar. There was no need to say much about the battle. Drake was instantly provoked by Natsu, and with a roar, he rushed forward. The other side. Flapping his wings, Merrimax hovered in the sky. Are you, a phantom beast capable person? Hawkins looked at Malamax, who was staring at him coldly in the sky, and couldn't help asking curiously. That's right. 99 Malamus nodded and continued. Zone, you demons, Hurricane Griffin form. P.S. Griffin, a product in the Western fantasy world, is a proper phantom beast. This is also one of the few transformations. Are you ready for judgment? Disrespectful? This is the reward that he has been loyal to the Christy Kingdom for more than 10 years, and finally received the recognition of the royal family. After General Virgil asked the Esdes Admiral Army for instructions, the Esdes Admiral Army represented the royal family and then handed it over to Virgil to give him the reward. This is a great honor for him. Pooh, pooh, clang. A steady stream of straw spewed out from the hilt of the sword, and a large amount of straw gathered in the air, forming a death scarecrow similar to Shinigami. Malamax, who incarnated in the form of a griffin, snorted coldly, and the eagle mouth opened its mouth to spit, and a violent wind spit out from the eagle's mouth, and the strong wind burst out with countless wind blades. Dozens of sounds in succession, and the demonic form was directly hit by dozens of windblade attacks. The violent blow of the nail and wooden stick hit the suddenly formed wind wall, which was directly blocked. In the face of Merrimax, who has gone all out and transformed into a phantom beast in the form of a hurricane griffin, Hawkins also knows that he can no longer retain his strength. Humph, gusty wind blasting blade. Drink, the reversed pope is a card for pursuit. I saw him suddenly burst out with a powerful aura, holding the long sword in front of him, and the sword body turned into a monstrous straw and shot straight into the sky. Advertisement 66. After procrastinating for so long, Merrimax didn't plan to ink anymore. Now someone wants to raid the soup house where the princesses are bathing, trying to force their way into it. The wind barrier. Each of the 5 fingers of both hands is wrapped around an iron stator, and the right hand holds a wooden nail and stick. With a light drink, he swung his long sword, and the demon conqueror above it flew out and killed Merrimez. A good card was drawn at once, and Hawkins was overjoyed. Forms a single controllable Shinigami Scarecrow. After the Shinigami Scarecrow took shape, the half-body was suddenly disconnected from the straw connected to the hilt of the sword. It was also the ascension of King Davy, who saved the kingdom from the dire straits and saved his family from the bad news of disaster. Howl of the Wind, 35 straight up, then it suddenly fell from the sky and attacked Hawkins fiercely. Shadow of Demons. Peas. Thank you, Xiao Guo, Linwand, for the monthly ticket servants who have given them away. Hawkins' eyes narrowed, and he instantly drew a card from the magic card, flipped it over, and then smiled. Around the battle between the two, a beast's pirates and a samurai from the general's mansion suffered more than 20 windblade damage in an instant, and were directly smashed by blood, good luck, scattered all over the place. An extremely violent gale erupted, and the griffin turned into a tornado, wrapped in the aura of destruction, and soared into the sky. Gaga, 200 chapters have been written. Thank you for your support. If you are interested in the extra episode, you can read the previous chapter and join the base to watch. The Magic Stick. Seeing this, Hawkins' eyes were solemn, and he slashed the long sword in his hand, enslaving the demon, wielding iron nails, and tying the double sticks into one wooden stick, smashing at Merrimax. Directly choose to open the big move. Marius doesn't forgive anyone easily.